Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on whereabouts in the world you may be. I hope everyone has had a fabulous weekend. Now, I want to start today by just saying a huge thank you to everyone who came along for the premiere of the most recent Moneyball Clinic episode, which is now over on YouTube for anyone that wants to watch. Obviously, don't escape this now. You know, we'll save that for later, all right? I hope people enjoyed it. It's really fun. It's going to be a multi-part series with Everton, so we are breaking down the stages of rebuild one by one. And then we're going to take them as separate episodes. So today we looked at the first start of the rebuild where we tear everything apart. Next episode, we're going to look at surviving and making sure that we can slowly progress until we can eventually become one of the most dominant forces in England. That's the plan, at least. The plan, I mean, you know, best laid plans. We don't know exactly how it's going to end, so who knows? But let's say hello, because we've got some beautiful people in this afternoon, whatever time of day it is. We've got Blue Lions in. Blue Lions is in. Bit disappointed with the Chelsea result at the weekend, which is understandable. That said, Brentford are a very good team. They're very good at frustrating you. You know, it was a tricky tie. A really dull game, I have to say. I watched 3 sporting events yesterday. I got up nice and early and I watched the F1, which was the most dull piece of excrement I think I've watched in a long time. And then I watched the Chelsea game. And that was pretty damn dull. Then I watched the Manchester derby, which was truly insipid. So a word of advice to everyone: if you want to know which games to avoid watching at the weekend, ask me which game I'm watching, and then don't watch that one. I can assure you it is going to be pretty damn awful. So welcome in, Blue Lions. It's a very weird way of saying hello, isn't it? Lovely to see you, my dude. We've got Kwan in. Now, Kwan is currently at work, so might not be around as I say hello to him actually properly in person. But lovely to have you drop by, and we should most certainly still be streaming in over 2 hours time, so hopefully catch you a little bit later. We have George over on YouTube as well. Welcome in, George. How are you doing? Now, George, if you're over in the Discord, you will have seen that George had his goalkeeper sent off after all his substitutes had been made a little bit earlier. Had to put Diego Dallo in goal, and he conceded 2 more goals. I mean, that's kind of what you've got to expect, right? That's what you've got to expect. Now, I would like to say, Safark, thank you very much for your input. Let me just jump ahead and say goodbye to you. Thank you very much, though, for your lovely message about ejaculation. That was very much appreciated. So for those of you that aren't on Twitch, it's just a bot. A bot offering something a little bit spicy, bless him. We have RJ in. Welcome in, RJ. How are you doing? Did you have a nice, restful weekend? I hope you're feeling good and charged and ready for the week ahead. We have Sherbs in as well. Sherbs was over on the premiere. How you doing, my dude? Lovely to see you. Now, so let's see. I do see that, apologies. Now, George, there's your message there. Can you do a Man United Moneyball Clinic, please, when it comes to it? So, George, the answer, as I've always given, is unfortunately, Man United are just a bit too good in FM. It kind of defeats the point when really, ultimately, they overperform within the game rather than underperform. So there's not necessarily the same drive within which to do it. Now, hopefully, when FM24 comes around and they recognise Man United as a bottom half table team, they might well be perfect for it. So, Sherbs, you're currently playing your first round game in the DFB Pokal. 7-0 up at half time. Maybe finally this season we won't be defensively impotent. I mean, that is quite a result. What did the score finish? How did the score finish? Yeah. Mufasa, welcome in, my dude. Welcome in. Now, as I recognise that will have answered the question I sent you over on Patreon. So let me just do a lovely little thing here. Bear me one moment. I want to make sure that I've got this spelt correctly. Mufasa fit. We're here for some admin now, guys. Some important admin.
It's not the statistics! It's not the statistics! You tell me! How do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle.
Welcome on in, Mufasa. Lovely to see you, my dude. Really, really appreciate it. We have a Mr. Echo in as well. Gamma Joba, Mr. Echo. How are you doing today? We have Zerachul in as well. Zerachul has just spent 1 hour trying to get through with the bank just to rage quit because I'm so fed up. God damn, I hate Mondays. That is ridiculous. There should be some kind of like compensation scheme that if your bank doesn't reply to you, keeps you on hold for longer than say 20 minutes, I think they should have to give you money. I think it's the only reasonable way to deal with things. It is appalling to have any kind of customer service set up where it's over an hour waiting to get through to them. It's just shocking. So Zerachul says the Man United game was great because they didn't lose. That's fair. That is fair. I suppose. I mean, it's not. I get it. Like, you expect to lose, so a point is a point. But oh my lord, if you're a neutral, you can't be enduring that. That was painful, I'm afraid to say. So up front says that football is dying. I wouldn't necessarily say it's dying. I think it is just changing. You say the individualism is dead, but then we look at someone like Guardiola's time at Barca, and individualism thrived there. I think it's just about getting those players right. We've got a little bit of Adam in. Welcome in, Traction FM. How are you doing, sir? How are you doing? I'm sorry that I missed your stream last night. I saw the message come through just as I was going to bed. I hope you had a wonderful time. If you guys don't follow Adam already, give him a little bit of love. Absolutely wonderful. A gentleman within the community. So DMV, where is DMV, Mufasa? I can't work that one out. Demilitarized Venice? I'm going with demilitarized Venice. I'm certain that is 100% right. 100% right. So RJ, this weekend was fine. It was sunny. Anderlecht Gloucester Genk. There we go. GNG's here. Welcome in, GNG. How you doing, my man? How you doing? So Echo says he thought the game would be 0-0. You were right. You were right indeed. Neutral Normie is here as well. Lovely to see you, my dude. So you think FM is very bad at modelling United? It was fine for the first few iterations after Ferguson left, but it's daft that they start winning titles early in FM24. It's perhaps arguably one of the difficulties that comes with a reputation-based system, because United built their brand so massive when like the financial floodgates opened. Their reputation is so high that I think it's very easy for them to succeed. There's also the element that we get a lot as players in a game. We get a lot more accurate information than perhaps people do in the real world. We can kind of work out who's going to play well, whereas Man United might spend crazy amounts of money on Casemiro, and it's not really an appropriate fit. Whereas we can kind of be a little bit more reactive. But yeah, I agree. It's frustrating that United end up being just far too good. It's disgraceful. Sounds disgraceful. So for full honest, Zerachul didn't watch that garbage. You were watching the TV show Silo. Fine choice. A fine choice. Right, shall we head on over into the actual game? Let's catch you guys up. No, let's not head on over into the game. I lured you in with a false sense of security. I do apologise. Let's head on over and play a little bit of bingo, because RJ has redeemed one of our mini games, and our mini games today is going to be bingo. That does mean I need to swap to the right little thing here, and we will create a game. I'll send this over. So for those guys that haven't played before, I'll just explain how this works. Nice and simple. Every single player gets a unique bingo card, 16 squares with like clubs or nations or competitions in them. Then we all get the same list of 60, that's 60 players that we have to match to those squares. So we've got to try and get at least one player on every single one of our 16 squares. Some of the players won't match any of them. You can skip. Some of them might match multiple squares. You've got to make a decision. But once you lock a square in, you can't undo it. You can't play anyone else on that square. So we will give it probably about 2 minutes or so to let people join, and then we'll head into the game. That gives me a little bit of time to catch up on the rest of the chat as well. So Diluting Juice, welcome in. How are you? How was your weekend? Mufasa says, currently managing Peterborough first season. About to hit January transfer window. Teams are stealing my wonder kids. I don't know how to look at players the Moneyball way like you do. Well, a good approach to take, Mufasa, would be, if you know that your players are about to be stolen, look at their performance and try and find people that will match that. So I'm guessing with Peterborough, you've got, it's Jay Jones, it's Malik Mothersill. Oh, there's an attacking midfielder right who's really good and very cheap. Is it Ajiboye? David Ajiboye, maybe? I might have got that wrong. But yeah, like David Ajiboye was a player that I found was absolutely incredible. You've got Poku there as well, indeed. Some incredible players in that Peterborough squad. Is Harrison Burrows there? And depending on when did the game start as well? Do you still have Ronnie Edwards, or has he been stolen away by Southampton? I have a friend who's a Peterborough fan. I've got a lot of fondness for them. So Demir's in as well. Welcome in, my dude. Looking forward to the second episode of the Everton series. Me too. Draw is here as well. I'm doing well. How are you? How was the rest of your weekend? Attraction's good. That's great to hear. No, not too bad. Appreciate the kind word. Then I was going to say they're not platitudes. They're meant with my heart, my dude. An absolute gentleman you are. So Mr. Echo says football's not dying. It's just everyone tries to copy Guardiola's style with not the right coaching knowledge and not the right players. Indeed, understanding your players makes a huge difference. So DMV is Virginia, Maryland, and Washington. Right, okay. Oh, so does this, if you're potentially Maryland based, does that mean that this hack could be offensive? I suppose it's just a throwback to the original Maryland team, considering that's where the Ravens are just the Cleveland Browns in purple. So blue Sherbs finished 12-1. Centre back scored 4 goals. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. So RJ says, you could just have stopped the title of your video at destroying Everton. It was fine like that. We could have just done that. We absolutely could have done that. The Koratiba's in. Welcome in, Koratiba. I'm afraid it's bingo. It is indeed. Angry mode bingo. I expect great things. Oh, we'll see how it goes. So Blue Lion says, bit random, but what was your first FM? My first FM was Championship Manager Italia. I mean, I know it's before FM, but you know, it's essentially the continuation of the game. So 30 plus years of playing, it's probably just a little bit embarrassing. So Mufasa, you started with the sorting out updated transfer, so I don't have too many players. Fair enough. Oh, you couldn't tell. You're only stationed in there for work. Fair enough. Thank God. We might have had a run in year C if you were a Ravens fan, but it's all good. It's all good. We wouldn't. I'm just joshing. Right. Okay. We said 2 minutes. Let's head on and play a little bit of bingo. Got a lovely little countdown. Now, I'm going to play very slowly because 1, I'm slow, and 2, so that I don't get ahead and you get kind of like a sneak peek on what players are coming up. So our first player to come up is Alexander Kolarov. So our job is then to see whether he matches any of these criteria, and if he does, click on the square that he matches. We get a whole 10 seconds, and if that 10 seconds runs out, it skips, or we can skip beforehand, but otherwise we'll just let it run. And as I said, with the first few, I tend to let them run. So we all get the same players in the same order, which means that if I get ahead, you guys get a sneak peek. And that's cheating. I mean, it's not cheating. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Right, so Charles de Ketelaere. I think this is the last one we'll let run by. I don't know if any of them have actually matched, to be fair. Okay, so we've got Amadou Onana. Amadou Onana is... Oh! Welcome in, the Dutch FM. Thank you very much for the raid. How was the stream today? Welcome in, Winky. Right, so we are in the middle of a game at the moment, so I will try and say hello properly in a moment. But I've also doing really badly at this, to be fair. I don't think I've actually clicked on a single player yet. I don't think that Phil Neville meets any of them. Luca Pellegrini, could he have been managed by... Is that the Pellegrini at Roma? Or is that the other Pellegrini? We're going with it. I haven't clicked on anything on the board yet, so I've panicked. I have panicked badly, and I'm sure there'll be some better options that will come up in due course. Jordan Pickford. I'm not liking the options so far. Zvonimir Boban. Now there's a great player. A great player indeed. Now, did Milan ever win the UEFA Cup? Or the Europa... Well, not the Europa League whilst Boban was there, so we're going to let that one. Did John Barnes win the UEFA Cup maybe at some point? I don't know. So yeah, Dutch FM, how was your stream? How did everything go? And welcome in, Hungdom in. Lovely to see you, my dude. I hope you're doing well. I'm really struggling with this board. This board is horrendous for me. Hossam Aouar. Is Hossam Aouar Moroccan? I think he's, even if he might have second nationality, I don't think he counts. So when was Harry Kewell part of that Liverpool team that beat Alaves? Was it maybe? Going with that, Maxi Rodriguez. The most amount of Rodriguez. We're saying he's a River Plate player. Joshua Zirkzee. I don't think he matches any of those. Mil Heskey. There we go. We've got a Villa player in. That's finally the part that's good. Sadly, you're just too late for the bingo. Unfortunately, missed it just by mere seconds, I'm afraid to say. I'm really, really sorry, dude. Dele Alli went off to Turkey, right? Well, we're saying he has now, so there we go. David James famously won the Spanish top division Golden Boot. Tim Howard. We've got quite a few goalkeepers coming through here. Tim Howard. I don't think he's matches any of those. Filippo Inzaghi. Now, Inzaghi, I don't think he matches any of these either. Yeah, I'm really, really struggling. I know nothing about Jose Maria Jimenez. I do know some stuff about Kevin Prince Boateng. I don't know enough about him, though. Did he play for both of them? We're going for it. For it. Daley Blind at Ajax. There we go. That's one that makes me feel good. Christophe Dugarry. Was he part of that Marseille side that won in the early 90s? I'm going for it. De Ligt could have been another Ajax player there. We're going to let that one run out, though. Jan Bissek, I'm going to let run. Djibril Cissé. What a hairdo. Uruguayan, Barca. There we go. Sounds Uruguayan, yes. Isn't that the centre-back? It could work. It makes sense. David Platt is far too early for any of these. I do apologise. Jesus Navas, we're going to skip on. Mikhail Oyarzabal, I don't think that he's ever won the Spanish top division Golden Boot. Kanu is Nigerian, that's one I can feel confident with. Terem Moffy's a cracking player in FM, but doesn't help me in any other way with that guard. Edin Dzeko. Has Edin Dzeko won the Europa League at some point? I'm going to say that he has. Why not give it a try? Begovic, I'm skipping. Luis Figo can be for Barcelona. Javier Saviola, did he play with Messi for Argentina? Paul Lopez, I'm going to skip. Benjamin Mendy, I'm skipping. Ziyech is Moroccan. Zaniolo, we're skipping. Fowler, we're skipping. Gael Clichy, we're skipping. Fabio Vieira. Ian Wright. Deco. Right, we need Brazilians. We need Uruguayan. Alexis Sanchez is Chilean, isn't he? Did Alexis Sanchez ever win the Spanish top division? We've only got 9 players left, so let's play it now. If only we waited for one more. Hey, there's Samuel Eto'o. Mark Overmars comes in. Ashley Cole. Alisson for Brazil. Do we have a late Uruguayan coming through? Last one is Edinson Cavani. Okay, that worked out okay. I think maybe we got 6 wrong. We did. We got 6 wrong. But that's okay, because we have some great performances. Sherbs is not last. Oh my God, what a triumph. Congratulations, Sherbs. And commiserations to you, Bob, I'm afraid. Dude, this round sucks, says Demir. It was tricky. It was tricky. RJ's cards were bad. That's what I will claim, is that Draw and FMGNG just, it's not that they've got sensational knowledge, despite repeatedly and consistently finishing near the top. They just always get lucky. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's just completely and utterly all about luck and not about their skill. I'm joking. Fantastic work, Draw. Fantastic work from FMGNG. They got 15 out of 16. That's incredible work. You going home with joint 5 points each. Coatiba, who said no, bingo, came in third. Incredible, 3 points to you. And then 2 points to Hawker67 and to Blue Lions. Now, Hawker67, if you use a different name over on Twitch or YouTube that may have already picked up points, let me know in chat. Otherwise, I will record the points under Hawker67. Those points all end up going towards that lovely little leaderboard there. Right, let's now finally head into the game and let's show you whereabouts we're at. I'm afraid Dutch FM it is a 30-minute cooldown. Well, I think it's an hour just under an hour cooldown between games, so that at some point I can actually play some FM. I'm slow enough at the best of times. I'm sorry. It's the luck of the Irish, says GNG. Indeed. So Draw says, I'm always one step away from bingo. I'll eventually have bingo. It's going to be, I swear it's going to be a recurring theme, Draw, like every single time on 15 out of 16. It is incredible work. Thank you very much for the hydrate. So, here we are. We have played an entire 3 games as manager of AC Milan. And we've done okay. We've won all 3 of them. We scored 4 goals against Juventus. We scored 4 goals against Sassuolo, and then 3 goals against Frosinone. Things generally look to be going okay. We have made some signings. Over the course of the summer, we bought in Joshua Zirkzee for 28 million euros. He's going to play either up front or behind the strikers, perhaps as an Enganche, perhaps as a trequartista. We're going to, change it around as we go. We've signed a 33-year-old Nikola Milenkovic to be a starting centre-back. He comes in for, I think that was around 8 million euros. And so far, he's not been good, but that's not enough time to judge upon. We've spent big on a new goalkeeper, Elia Caprile. He was relegated with Roma last season, but he impressed us. He impressed us quite a lot in the games that we saw. And so we felt fit to spend big. And his value has already doubled, which suggests we've done okay. And then we've got a lad called Tommaso Profundi, a young right-back signed from Atalanta. He can't dribble, but he can do pretty much, well, he can't dribble, he can't tackle, he can't mark, he can't head. But he can run forwards and he can cross. So we're hoping that he's going to be able to do just enough to see us by. And then, right at the end of the stream on Saturday, we had Demi Rojo brought in on loan. Demi Rojo is a young defensive midfielder who's very good at passing, great vision, not much flair, so his deep line playmaker kind of sounds about right. He will be able to ping the ball. He's not necessarily going to do anything unexpected. He's been signed because we ended up with some injuries. We didn't end up with some injuries. We ended up with one injury, and that was to Malik Thior. Malik Thior has got a hip injury, is going to be out for the next 3 months. And he had been designated as our starting defensive midfielder. And then, whilst off stream, I moved this game forwards 5 whole calendar days until the next game. And in those 5 whole calendar days, Rafael Leao is now out for 4 weeks. He's suffering from shin splints, which is I say it's a shame. He hasn't scored in the opening 3 games, but I've really liked his play up until now. So it's a little bit of a disappointment. But we'll make do. We'll get by. I'm hoping we'll get by. So Mr. Echo, Fiorentina got Luis Diaz for free in game. That's very cool. That is quite cool. Luis Diaz. I'm always I'm unsold on Luis Diaz, to be fair. I like the idea of Luis Diaz. I'm not sure I'm necessarily impressed by the output of Luis Diaz. He's now 34 years old in game. Been playing for Tottenham. So sold to Tottenham for 58 million. A slight profit for Liverpool there. And he was pretty solid up until the latter part of his career as he gets older. Yeah, good spot, Mr. Echo. Good spot. So for those that don't know, this is the tactic we use. Now there are elements that can be changed. We might go with double attacking wing backs or double support. If we have an attacking wing back, we're going to have a Carolero on their side. If we have an a supporting wing back, we're going to have a Mazzalo on their side. And we're going to play around with that depending on what kind of formations we're up against. We're going to have a anchor who might at times be a half-back when we maybe need an extra body deep to play through the press. And then up front, we're going to play around with different roles and duties depending on the players available in the opposition. So generally speaking, I think we're mainly going to focus on a trequartista behind a supporting complete forward and an advanced forward. But sometimes we might have an enganche here. We might have the complete forward on attack. The idea is that we will always have one role on support, two roles on attack. We might have a deep lying forward in there. We might use a poacher. We will basically play around with it based on what we think might be necessary for the upcoming games. And that's a good point to talk about the game that we're going to head into. Our upcoming game is against Napoli. It's a home game. And Napoli, we're now in 2031. They've still got a number of familiar players. We've got Nathan, we've got Merritt, we've got Raspadori, we've got Osimhen in. They've also since bought in Kirkej, Gusto, Sucic, Schlager, yeah, that's all right. Abubakar Silla's a good player. Pierre Kalulu's a pretty decent player. Mimbella is a new gen who seems to be quite good as well. So it looks like a really, really good team. So let's head into that game. Let's head on into that game. So Blue Baron, you downloaded your skin to work out which defensive midfielder was going to play in the Welsh FA Semi-Cup final, but you still lost 3-1 to the New Saints. But I won the league by a mile anyway with 81 points. Not too bad. Win 1 out of 2. I think that's reasonable. Right, okay, Jabbits is in. Welcome in, Jabbits. How was your weekend, sir? How was your weekend? And now, RJ has asked to look up Mario Sturkens, who is still at Anderlecht, played 299 games, scored 96 goals. That is quite incredible. Lots of loyalty there. I mean, that's a 1 in 3 goal rate, which maybe isn't that impressive overall. Started the season, a couple of goals in 8 games. I mean, he's hit double figures 5 out of the last 6 seasons, which is fantastic. And if we consider that he started off, when the save started, he was being used as a bit part player. 12 starts, 4 goals. The following season, that jumped up to 19 starts, 9 goals. And then, so from the 25-26 season onwards, he started to get a proper run. 34 starts, 14 goals, 6 assists. 35 starts, 16 and 6. 18 and 6, all moving upward in terms of trajectory. A little bit of a dip. Only started 24 games the following season. Back up as a regular starter, so maybe had some injury problems there potentially. Back in as a regular starter, back in double figures. And then kind of a rotation piece from the looks of things. So yeah, that last season he was out for 4 months with a hip injury. The season where he had the other dip as well, we had a couple of injuries right towards the end of it. A twisted knee, a twisted ankle. So maybe it was a little bit of a disjointed season. He seems to have been solid. I mean, maybe that's the real reason he hasn't left. Despite being quite good, 35 million euros does seem a little bit on the high side. A little bit on the high side as far as I'd be concerned. Nico is so good. Shane Barca let him go. It's great to see. I imagine that Nico is going to have one hell of a career. But Barca have a lot of good midfielders anyway. They do. They have an absolute obscene glut of midfielders coming through. So, because we're up against a 2 strikers system, I'm going to ask Nico Gonzalez to drop in deep, and maybe we can build out through there, try and draw them onto us. We want to get them out of their defensive shape as much as possible because there's a lot of bodies there. They're going to, essentially, we have a one-man advantage in the middle, but that's not that great of an advantage. Just going to look at that, and I think I'm going to add play out of defense as well. More all about this, trying to draw them out, and then hopefully hit them once we manage to move the ball forwards. I'm sure I'll regret it. Every time I do make a change, it does tend to result in us being a little bit flat, a little bit rubbish. So we'll see. Right, hands on hips, make use of home advantage, and I have faith. I trust you. Let's do it. Let's head in. I fixed this. Oh, we've now got the players appearing as well. So Sherb's just signed Sucic in your Hertha save, playing him as an inside forward on the right. How's he doing for you? He looks like a great player. Osimhen is still there. Raspadori. I mean, this is FM, isn't it? Their turnover of players is very, very low. He's still considered a striker in FM, right? What position does Sturkens play in real life then? Right, here we go. So Mufasa, with Moneyball, do I need to only sign peak or young players since I buy low and sell high, or 30 plus players can do too? Also, my board only want me to sign players 23 and under, and it's hard to find players that fit due to work permit. Well, that was a good start. He's onside, no doubts about that. Raspadori's free kick in. Mimbella rises above his man. Right, let's... I might need to concentrate a little bit. Here we go. So, momentum is very much in their favour, and we are quite deep. So far in the game, that's been the only shot that's happened. Although here's another one about to come. Gusto sends the cross in. No, Caprile claims. Gets up high, above Osimhen. And now what's going to happen here? We roll it out to Nico, playing in between, splitting the defenders. He's going to move it across to Baglieri. Baglieri's going to go on the outside and lose out to Kirkesh. Here's Silla now. Right, Kari does well. Plays it back in. And we've got a chance. Now, you could have hit it into Bove there. Decided against it. Here's Nico. Out wide. That's dodgy. Here's Raspadori into Osimhen. Straight at Caprile. Cool. Okay, so let's take that off. I'm not liking how we are doing in that area there, and we're going to run with just those couple of changes. And those changes aren't even going to take hold. Here come Napoli again. Sucic down the left. Gets the cross in. Milenkovic just hoofs it away. And Elena Kane knocks it on. Carmona, can he get in behind? Elena Kane can, though. Elena Kane on his weaker foot. And that is over. That was a chance. We need to tell them we expect more. We also need to tell these guys to ease off their tackles. Right, another throw-in. They've scored from one throw-in already. And Gusto's going to dig out the cross. Sucic with the header. That's 2-0. This is bad. This is bad, guys. Okay, so Mufasa, you've loaded over 400 players. You have everything on detail. So no, Moneyball is not about selling. Is not about buying players young and selling them at a high cost. Moneyball is about finding players undervalued by the market. So it doesn't matter what age they are. If you can find someone who's going to perform for you that is ultimately undervalued, then that is what Moneyball is. If you head on over to the Moneyball Clinic Chelsea videos, I talk about that in quite a lot of detail about how you're looking to find. You're not looking to just buy low, sell high, loan farm. You're looking for competitive advantages, not financial advantages. As crazy as it might sound. Here comes Gusto, sends the cross in. It's another cross, another chance. This is a problem. This is a problem, and that means we need to get out and stop those crosses. I think we're just going to drop down to balanced. What I want is us to get in at just 2-0 at half time. They've only had 4 shots. We've had just 2. We're not going to get in until half time, are we? Here's Baglieri to Milenkovic. Milenkovic across to Bove. Bove to Hernandez. Steps inside, plays it across. Those cross-field passes have been quite dangerous. Here's Cowie, though. Are we going to get one back? And Xerxes with the header, and that's over. That's over. Right, we are shite. We are very, 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 very shite. 24 passes, loses the ball 7 times. Baglieri's lost it 15, had it 14. That's a lot of ball loss. Let's take a look. So Napoli are having the ball quite a lot down the sides, as we'd expect. We're having it. Oh no. We're a lot more balanced in terms of that, but we're just not getting into the final third particularly effectively. We know that, like the 3-5-2 with the bank of three, that is going to be hard to progress into the final third. But we need to be better in that regard. We need to be mindful of how much threat their threat's coming down the left, but their assists are coming down the right. Yeah, so they're further ahead down the right. They're actually being held up a little bit down the left there. So let's thrash arms. Let's tell them they've been rubbish. Airily, we've been absolutely atrocious. So we're going to drop you down onto support as well, which means we're going for double Mazzalas. That Mazzala is going to be... Right, Roger's coming in for his debut. As Paolo Bonato's coming on as well. So we're going with deep lying forward on support, complete forward on attack. 3 changes at half time. We're going to push back up to there. We're going to... Let's try and be a little bit more direct. Push that tempo up as well. We've got 2 big boys. Let's play a little bit wider. We're not going to engage higher, but we do want to try and stop them from getting down the side. So we're going to be really, really aggressive in pressing them once they do get up to our mid block. So that's what we're hoping for at the moment. So Stroikens is an attacking midfielder. Tielemans Xerxes, that should have been 2-1. Oh, Xerxes, you had so much space. Xerxes, why are you so Xerxes-like? Elena Kane are here now. Sends it across. Now Kirkesh comes away. It's a counter-attack for Napoli. Kirkesh down the right-hand side. Holds the ball up. Feeds it to Gusto. Inside to Kalulu. Roger makes the tackle. Can't make it stick. Sucic to Kirkesh again. Somebody make a proper challenge. We're firing you guys up. We're only a few minutes into the second half. Medical Carve, it's not good at all. Welcome in, my dude. I hope you're doing well. You hear your fans screaming. You've got medium NPC. And have fun until my PC can't anymore. Generally speaking, I mean, like 400,000 players is a crazy amount to load. But if you are happy to wait for those processing times, yeah, that's cool. That's brilliant. Here's Gusto. Gusto gets around the outside again. Bove can't make his tackle stick. Schlager with the shot. Would anyone like to tackle? We're going to get ourselves a red card. That's absolutely fine. All I want is us to actually attempt to win the ball. Crazy, I know. Actually, I am going back to that screen. Let's just make sure that we also understand that when Kirkesh and Gusto run, we don't just let them. Maybe we try and restrict some space. Here is Gusto now. Back to Kalulu. The great advantage of a back 5 system is that it's really, really easy to keep hold of the ball, especially when you're doing a lead. I say that, Kirkesh steps in. Sorry, Xerxes steps in. Now here's Kirkesh. He had a chance for a turnover. We didn't make it. Now Schlager comes away. Schlager, somebody tackle. Someone get close to him. Anyone. Oh, Sucic! Off the underside of the bar. Caprile then pushes it out. We're living a charmed life. A very, very charmed life. Right, good evening, dorks. Welcome in, Adam. How you doing, sir? Lovely to see you. Why do I use this camera now, by the way? I like this camera. The only reason I didn't use it whilst we were in previous places was because the stands got in the way of the goals. Do you guys want me all to change it back to boring TV? Yeah, boring people. Oh, welcome in, Kev and viewers. How are we all doing? How was the stream today, my man? Lovely, lovely to see you. Now, if you guys don't follow the United City, I honestly don't know what to tell you. You are missing out big time. Kev is such a wonderful, wonderful streamer. Lovely, lovely community that he's built. Just started a new series called Ukraine to UK Reign, where he tries to do a journeyman getting from Ukraine all the way back to the UK. Here's Bove with the cross, Nico with the header. We welcome in, Raiders. This is our first game of the stream, and we have been, at want of a better word, absolutely awful in this game. We won our opening 3 games in charge of AC Milan. We scored 11 goals in those 3 games. We came into this stream on a high, and perhaps that hubris has hit us hard, because we are getting absolutely thumped here by Napoli. Beraldo gets it clear. Sucic. We're just not making any challenges. We're occasionally closing them down, but when we get close, we just then let them go by. It's a very, very frustrating game so far. Here's Kalulu. Back to Nathan. Nathan has time, has space, feeds Mimbella. Mimbella to Schlager, out wide again to Gusto. Now, we've got specific instructions to close down Gusto. Did we close him down? Did we try? Hell no! Raspadori will take the corner. He swings it into the near post. Milenkovic gets there. Baglieri gets it clear. Right, 72 minutes. Let's make some change. So, United City, the stream was good. Early stages at Zoria, but a good set of friendly results and a new centre-back in. So, all good. That sounds fantastic. Fantastic. Zerachul says, in the words of the last time we were bad like this, this is wank. It is. It is. Right, Xerxes gone, I think. We're going to bring on Fataru. We're going to play him as an advanced forward. We're going to playmaker Bernardo, because I think we need to get more pressure on that back line. We need to get more pressure on that back line. I think we also start... I mean, it's the last 18 minutes. We're chasing now. Let's put these guys into a more attacking capacity. Let's bring on Profundi for his debut. And let's go for this. Let's hope we might concede a third. We're almost certainly going to concede a third. But, you know, that's kind of what we deserve, really, for this performance. Or nothing's going to happen. Right, Raspadori almost wins a challenge. 5'7" Raspadori almost won that long ball. But here we come with Profundi. Profundi in his glorious afro finds Nico. Nico sends it across. Bove's shot takes a massive deflection. And that's 2-1. There is no way in the world that that should go down as a Bove goal. That deflection was humongous. That was humongous. Nico sends it across to Bove. First time shot. And there it is. It flies off Schlager and past Merritt. We've got a route in. We've got a route in. Can we do it? Ruggieri sends the ball long. Fataru can't get there, but it comes to Profundi. Profundi has got some space to send the cross in. He sends it in. Elena Kane arises, and that's over. And that's a free kick. Merritt will take that free kick to Boubacar Silla. Kalula plays it in, and we've nicked in. Bonato! Oh, Bonato! Right, so, Nada, as you prefer, I was wondering why you changed. I've always preferred this from, like, if I'm not trying to work out things tactically and I'm just looking at it from a, I want to see the game, I really like being able to see this full scrolling view. So, Mr. Echo says, I offer you more boring camera angle. Sideline, max zoom, lowest height. Reversed as well, so you're just behind the dugout. That I quite... If you could get it more zoomed so you're like properly behind the dugout, that would be awesome. Here we go, into the last few seconds. The game is over. We fall to our first defeat, and it's at home, at the San Siro. We deserve nothing from that game. Absolutely awful, awful performance. And we got very much what we deserve. So, Muster, curious as to what your thoughts on sticking a wing back behind a winger on support. So, I don't mind it if maybe you're going to ask that if you're going to have overlaps on, so if you're going to ask the wing back to get forward, so you've got a winger who you're expecting to stay wide, beat their man, whip across him. But maybe you've got a player who's also quite good at kind of passing as well. If you have a winger that does that, maybe they can't get the cross and they've got to step back, and then you have someone else coming across behind to take it on. It can absolutely work, but it does mean that you end up very one track down that side. So it's perfectly fine, just all about the overall setup. So there we go. No teams so far have won 100% of their games. So that's something at least. I think that means we've got Cagliari and Catanzaro are also unbeaten alongside Inter. Granted, they've drawn a couple of games, so they're a little bit further below. Right, let's get these guys rested. We've got our game coming up now. Our first game in the Champions League with Milan. It's an away trip to Benfica. Our schedule for the Champions League is really quite cruel. Right, we have Benfica to open up with, then Leverkusen, then Barcelona. Then we get the slightly easier games. We've got Salzburg, we've got Zagreb, we've got Leipzig, and then we end with Luzern and Shakhtar. If we can pick up 3, maybe 4 points out of those first 3, then I think we're in a really, really good spot. I do worry a little bit if we don't, whether we'll then be able to recover. So Mr. Echo wanted me to drop Rocher on Libero. We don't want. There is no way we're using Rocher as a Libero. Surely not. We want him in midfield with his passing. I suppose we could at some point, if we want to. We could potentially. Viva's in. Welcome in, Viva. I'm not Kev, unfortunately. I'm not Kev. He's got a much better groomed beard. So Winky has just smashed Bate Borisov with Lincoln City 13-1. That is incredible. Goalkeeper says a goal is a goal. That is true. That is very true. I feel like Bove has been very, very generously awarded that one though. We are not going to throw the water bottle yet. We've only known these players for 4 games. We will build up to it. We will definitely build up to it. Now, we've had a couple of player lookup redeems, so let's go on over and do that for a moment. Mr. Echo would like to see the glorious wonder kid himself, Pedri, is still at Barcelona now, aged 28. He started the season, hasn't been particularly... 4 games is not enough to judge this performance this season yet, but early signs suggest he's not had a great start to the year. He's under contract for another 3 years, valued at 213 million. He's only played 318 games for the club, which is probably speaks a little bit towards his injury proneness, perhaps. So in the first season, pretty solid. Played 52 games in all competitions, 9 goals, 12 assists, 7.2 average rating. Brilliant. Second season, 11 goals, 12 assists in 53 games. Drops down to only 44 appearances in season 3. 20 of them came from the bench. I'm guessing he had to deal with injury there, because he come back the next season in absolutely scintillating form. That's 49 appearances, 30 goal contributions, a 7.45 in the league, 7.44 overall rating, and that appears to have been his best season to date, back in the 26-27 season. Season after that, 40 games, 17 goal contributions. Still pretty damn good. The season after, 34 games, 20 goal contributions, 52, 11. So that seems to have been quite a bad season. Does stick out quite sorely across the one so far. And then he followed that up with a season with 42 games, all starts, 14 goal contributions. Does kind of feel like maybe he hasn't quite made the step up. Quite made the step up that we might expect him to in real life. He's had some fantastic seasons in there, but just not quite top level. Welcome in, Sebastian, by the way. Welcome in, Johnny Trotter. Lovely to see you guys both. Now, Johnny wants us to take a look at hubris. You got me there, Johnny. You got me there, Johnny. I completely fell for it. I mean, we have succumbed to hubris twice now, both the literal sense and the fake player hubris. So Hungdamin, you watched my Everton video. We need hoofball Everton, not tippy tappy Everton. Well, Hungdamin, if you watch the video, you'll know why we played the way that we did, because it's all explained and makes sense. So, RJ, you're AC Milan now. You've got to aim to win in the Champions League, even Barca at home. We certainly we aim to win, but we've got to also be like, I wouldn't say to our players, hey, we only need 4 points from these 3 games. But realistically, if we pick up 4 points from those 3 games, I think we should be in a strong position to finish in the top 8 and get through the bye. I think if we don't, we're in a little bit of trouble in that regard. Right, so Benfica should be. This is a game that I think we should be able to win. But we'll see. Let's see how the players respond to our disappointing performance last time out. And so Sherbs, your other side is scoring goals. Hey, 3-1 up at half-time against Freiburg. Marvellous stuff. Marvellous stuff. We're going to end up with like I'm expecting at least 6-2 by full-time, Sherbs. Anything less will be a disappointment. Yeah, I got done good. Oh, you don't get the jokes, guys. So Mr. Echo, the term hubris, essentially it's like complacency through arrogance. It's when you have confidence in a situation and sometimes you might be overconfident that results in things going wrong. For example, we came into that game against Napoli having won all our games so far, and we felt confident that we could win that game because we were at home and we were in good form. And they scored right in the opening few moments, and that completely changed the tone and set us up for disappointment and defeat. Now, hubris, the first part of that sounds like a name, Hugh. The surname Briss could be a French Paris Saint-Germain player, as Johnny Trotter mentioned. It could be Hugh Brie. So he put that in as a player lookup, and I didn't pick up that actually that is hubris, and it was a joke. So so that's the joke. It's always weird explaining jokes. I do apologise. And Johnny had actually explained that all in far fewer words than I had. Right, let's see. What changes are we going to make here? We've got Bingo's just been redeemed by RJ. We've got a player lookup as well. So we'll do them before we play this game. But let's just try and set up the lineup. Let's make some changes accordingly. Those changes are going to include Nico in. We're going to go attacking at our wing backs. We're going to give Pafundi his first start. He's a new arrival. He didn't get a good pre-season with Atalanta, but in the Champions League we can get away with a little bit of rotation. Fataru will come in as well. That's 2 left-footed strikers. Gary can get a start. Wojcik, disappointed we rejected an offer for him. That's fine. Wojcik in for... No. We're going to bring in Brignoni for Milenkovic. Milenkovic is 33 years old. We don't want to be playing him every game. Are we going to bring Roja in for a start or Heze? We're going to bring Heze in. Otherwise, I think that's a decent number there, a decent lineup there. So let's head on over. We'll do the player lookup first. Anton Markovic. So RJ asked, did I remove the cooldown from lookup players? There was never a cooldown on lookup players. There is a limit though. There's only a certain amount that we're able to do per stream. So Hunderman, do you want to suggest another player? Because there is no Anton Markovic, I'm afraid, in this database. So Draw says, in the Italian manager game you played for at the 90s, was there the legendary Dejan Savicevic? I feel like that was before Savicevic's time, but my memory is going to be hazy. We are talking about 33 or so years ago. So my memory as to which players were in which edition of the game is going to be hazy at best. Right, so let's head on over and play a little bit of bingo. Here we go. There, let's set up a new game. Gonna pop the link over into the chat, both over on Twitch and on YouTube. So let's explain how this game works for those that haven't played. Every player gets a unique bingo card with 16 squares on it. Those squares contain nations, clubs, competitions, awards. We then all get the same list of 60 players revealed one at a time, and we've got to work out whether those players match any of those squares. If they do, click on one of the squares. They might match multiple and you've got to choose. They might match none of the squares, at which point you need to skip. Our goal is to try and get 16 correct. But once you lock in a square, you can't undo it. You can't put another player on that square. That's locked in, that is set. So be careful, make sure you feel confident with your answer, and then head on in. Once you get towards the last few players, if you've still got loads of squares, you might as well just go for a guess. Now, generally speaking, the goal is to get bingo, get 16 correct. And we've had bingo here on the channel 4 times. So last time out on Saturday evening, Johnson got bingo. We've had some bingos for a couple of others as well. So it is possible, but it's rare. So don't expect to get all of them right. There was absolutely no shame if you don't quite manage to. Now, I'm going to give it about another 90 seconds so that people have time to join, and then we'll head into the game. I'll try a little bit to catch up. So Sherb says, it really should have been 4-2. Both sides missed penalties in the first 20 minutes. Oh my, what a game that is. What a game. I see the cooldown. I think he got lucky with timing. Is there a cooldown? Oh, that's a surprise. That's a surprise. The bingo cooldown. Yeah, I think RJ, I'm pretty certain on the bingo cooldown, it's just like waiting for it, just constantly refreshing. His timing is sensational. So Coritiba says, bongo before class about bong. I know, I'm calling it bongo from now on, Coritiba. That is much better. Before class about materials for civil construction. That's fine. Civil construction. That sounds far too intense to think about on a Monday. Far too intense to think about. That's like a Wednesday subject, right? You need to be warmed up into the week, but you don't want it too late in the week when you're really like tired and you just want the week to be over. Yeah, it feels like you need to be really careful with that. Cool. Right, let's head on into the game then. Let's head on in. We get a little countdown. I will play slowly to start off with. I will let the first players run by so that we don't get too far ahead. So RJ says you just have a timer in your head. That is sensational skills. Right, it's everything not military related. A lot of content. Fair enough. Right, Daniel Regani is come up as the first one. Now, he does match some of these criteria, but I'm going to let these run. We have about 10 seconds for each player. We can skip if we don't feel that they match a criteria. So you don't have to wait for the 10 seconds to run out before you click on it. So here comes now. We've got Declan Rice. Famously Declan Rice is Swiss, as is Nabil Fekir. Nabil Fekir is a Ballon d'Or winner. We all know that, right? So we will play that one. Cool there. We've let a few run. Now we can play properly. Jesus Navas. Played with Fabregas for Spain, I'd assume. We've got Nico. A Nico mention nice and early. Now, that surely we're going to play him as Barcelona there. Villarreal's Alex Bainer. Now, I don't think that he was part of any of like European success. I don't know if he's moved on much between there. Hernandez, there's a classic FM youngster. Well, one-time youngster. I suppose all footballers at some point were a youngster. You know what I mean. I hope you know what I mean at least. So Federico Di Marco and Sufati coming up now as well. We're going to let that run. It's a Ballon d'Or winner. I've got to remember that Ballon d'Or is there because there's only a relatively small handful of players that could ever match that criteria, which is something to be mindful of. That's Moussa Dembele, as in Tottenham and Fulham one. Talking of Tottenham, here's Dejan Kulusevski as well. A cracking player. He came from Juventus, did he not? So we're going with that. Javier Schlager just absolutely run the show against us for Napoli in that last game. Think he's Swiss? I'm going for Swiss either way. And subsequently, I'm going to play that Florent Malouda. I can't remember which team he came from in France, but my knowledge of Marseille players isn't particularly great either, so I'm going to get that one out of the way nice and early. Dirk Kuyt. Dirk Kuyt. Got to be careful with the pronunciation of his name. He is most definitely Dutch. Oscar Cardozo. Oscar Cardozo. Did he? He was at Benfica for a long time, wasn't he, Cardozo? By Alisson. Alisson, a cracking player. I don't think he matches any of those. He was at Roma, wasn't he, before he joined Liverpool? Mark Overmars. We're going to run with played in the Dutch top division. I feel like we've got more chance of getting some Ajax players through. Which Ederson is that Ederson? 1993 Ederson. I'm not sure. Wojciech Szczesny. Wojciech Szczesny, quite famously, is Brazilian. I feel like Szczesny is the kind of player who might have won the Europa League at some point, but I just don't know well enough. Ian Wright famously played for Galatasaray. They didn't win the UEFA Cup, quite famously. They lost the UEFA Cup, Arsenal. I think Wright wasn't even in the team at that time, so that's not actually relevant. Gersons. Has Gerson played at Ajax at any point? Possibly. Van Persie. Van Persie. I'm skipping on. Steve Malbronk. Steve Malbronk would have been in that Fulham final, wouldn't he? But he won't have won it, I don't think. I think Malbronk is a Marseille player, a former Marseille player. Sol Campbell, we're giving that a skip as well. Eric Bailly. I'm skipping. Mazraoui. Gonna run with Ajax for that one, I think. So Abondanzieri. Abondanzieri. Like, okay, so I have absolutely no idea on UEFA Cup and Europa League winners. That's why I'm kind of like umming and ahhing every single time it comes up. Wesley Sneijder ended up out at Galatasaray, I think, at some point. Jonathan Woodgate. We're skipping on Woodgate. Marcus Edwards we're skipping on. Tanguy and Ndombele. Let's say he's won the Europa League. Ismail Assar. Senegalese, I think. Koulibaly. Koulibaly had left Chelsea by the time Poch was there, right? That's what I'm going with anyway. Christian Pulisic will have left as well. Stefan Lichtsteiner. Matthias Zaccagni. Jerome Boateng. Martin Terrier. Aguero. Shall we say that Sionchu has won the UEFA Cup at some point? Fabian Ruiz. Would he have been at PSG at the same time? Pepe Reina. That's far enough back that he could have won the UEFA Cup. Let's go with it. Now we're just looking for Ballon d'Or winners. Could it be that Fabian Schär won the Ballon d'Or? Or Deco? Ricardo Carvalho? Michael Carrick? Francesco Toldo? Pierre-Emile Højbjerg? Mario Gomez? Daichi Kamada? Nathan Ake? Ferran Torres? Rui Patricio? Lothar Matthäus. I was starting to worry that we weren't going to get anyone to match through. So we did pretty badly. Pretty badly for me, but let's see how everyone else got on. We got some fantastic results in there. Not too bad, RJ. Best score so far. Fantastic work. RJ, 11. That's the key, the best score to get. Right? Absolutely the best score to get. So Reese says Poch. Thank you. Derbs, bottom of the table, back where I belong. Best score yet, though, 8 out of 16. You can't knock that. Half is good. Hung Min can't get a bingo. Tottenham's kind of performance it is. So Hung Min, currently, you might not have got bingo, but you are currently joint top. Because there are 5 of you who got 14 out of 16 correct, which is incredible. Draw, Shah 29, Bob, Neutral Normie, and Hung Min, all with 14 correct. Sensational work, guys. Sensational. RJ was scared when I couldn't see a Ballon d'Or, and Mateus came at second to last. I was getting just as scared. Relayhal's in. Welcome in, Relayhal. How are you? How was your weekend, sir? Højbjerg would have won the Ballon d'Or if he wasn't a Spurs player. Quite possibly. Yeah. Zerachul coming in right at the death. I said that 5 people would joint top. I lied. 5 people have joint second. Zerachul comes in right at the death with 15 out of 16 correct. What a legend. What a legend. It's like a 90 plus 5th minute winner. Indeed, Johnny. Indeed. Absolutely sickening for everyone else. But sensational work. Sensational. So I was mentioning at the time that I thought those were wrong. Fabian Ruiz towards the end, we were like maybe at PSG. I'm not too disappointed with that. Wasn't a good showing by any stretch of the imagination, but it could have been a lot worse. A lot worse. Right, now we have a game coming up. However, we also have an ad break coming up in about 3 minutes time, which would end up coming up during the game. So let's bring that forwards a little bit. It pushes the next one back a little as well. And I will see you guys in about 3 to 4 minutes as I go and fill up my drink, go to the toilet, do all those lovely things. Catch you in a few moments as well, Coritiba. Hope class is good. Thank you for dropping by. Everyone else, I'll see you in 3 minutes. Right, and we're back. Let's head straight into the game, shall we? So, Vallejo was saying, that's fine. Vallejo was saying that it's been a weekend full of FM and football. The perfect weekend. And now we take a pause from the streams because they were so stressful. That's fair enough. It's nice to enjoy a little bit of time just to relax. Completely understandable. Interesting kit choice there. We're going with red versus pink. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I do quite like that pink and blue thing that was going on with AC Milan a couple of seasons back. I want to win. We'll tell them that we have faith, and let's head on into the game. Well, I look forward to having to trim that out of the VOD after it's over because of copyright issues. Right, here comes Benfica from the kickoff. Straight at us. João Neves into Lipani. Lipani back to João Neves. Here's Phillips. Is that Ashley Phillips? Thiago Guevara wins the header. Can we get it clear? We can. Another highlight straight away. Could this be a very exciting game as Elena Kane lets it bounce? A great strike. Noah Atabolo with the save. Oh, Profundi now will find Xerxes. Xerxes on the edge of the area to Heze, out to Aguirre. It's an exciting start, that's for sure. An exciting start. So Neutral Normie talking about bingo. Got confused between Moussa Dembele and Moussa Dembele. You are not the first. You're not the first, Neutral Normie. You won't be the last either. We spent a long time talking about it on Saturday evening. The exact same situation came up. Here's Fatawi. Finds Elena Kane against the angle. George Elena Kane with goal number 6 for the season. There we have it. George Elena Kane. Hey, I haven't had time to do music stuff over the weekend, but there most definitely will be an Elena Kane Macarena song coming our way. Cross it in the box and that's a goal, Elena Kane. Pass it in the space and that's a goal, Elena Kane. Hoof it from the back and that's a goal, Elena Kane. Elena Kane. Hey, I think we've got something there. Here's Bove into Elena Kane once more. Ruggieri takes it down the left-hand side. Sends the cross in. That's Vatari with the header. Atabolo with another save. This is better. Than that Napoli game. Zerachul with the Mousas and the Dembeles. You just skip. Don't blame you. My brain's not fast enough to figure that out in 10 seconds. Age has made me not slow. Just less fast. Indeed. We've got a Crodmo in. Welcome in, Crodmo. How you doing, sir? We've got a Knight and Knee in as well. Welcome in, both of you guys. I hope you're doing well. You've only missed one game so far. A very, very disappointing home defeat against Napoli. We came in, we felt confident. We thought this was a game we could win with reasonable comfort. And then they scored after 4 minutes. Then they scored again after about half an hour, and we just couldn't get anything going. Here's Chukwueze. That should have been 1-1. No, it shouldn't. He was offside. That's fine. So it's not started too well, but you've only missed the one game, gents. Right, momentum-wise, we seem to be doing okay. We are pinned back, though, from the looks of things. We are playing a lot deeper than Benfica are, even if momentum is in our favour. We've got more of the ball as well, so maybe we need a little bit more urgency coming into this second half. We want to be a little bit higher up the pitch. We want to be taking the game to Benfica a little bit more, who are going to look for an equaliser late in the first half. Here's Black. Black charges down the right, sends the cross back to Chukwueze. His shot is over. Caprile dives. It's a little bit for show, that dive. Let's be fair. That wasn't a proper dive. So that's their only shot, apparently, because the other Chukwueze chance was offside. So yeah, 54% ball share, but we do seem to be a little bit deep. A lot of the ball around the area where Beraldo is. Beraldo's on a yellow card. So I'm happy with how we've dominated possession. We'll be positive. but we are going to increase that tempo. Let's see if we can get things forward a little bit earlier. So let's increase the passing directness as well. We're going to bring Bove off. He's going to be replaced by Roja. Ronaldo is going to be asked to ease off tackles. Bulgaria is looking tired after that first half. Elena Kana we probably want to bring off at some point as well. But I think for that half, we're okay. Haven't seen anything of Chiesa. We saw Fugu right at the start of the game. But most of the threat has been coming from Chukwueze. Yeah, I think we're okay to carry on second half. See how it goes. Ladies and gentlemen, Musterman back to the Champions League. Isn't it good to hear that theme once more? Isn't it good to hear that theme once more? Surileja, when you used to rename the Spanish second tier as La Liga Hypertension, it's because you feel the hypertension every match. My word, what a great name. What a great name that would be. So Andrea Moroni, the champions. What a tune. What a tune. Who do I think the Browns should draft? And here's Xerxes! Get in! Get in! No, I'm not going to sing it without doing all the recording stuff and having music behind. But how about Joshua Xerxes to the tune of Dirty by Christina Aguilera? I think Let's Get Xerxes got a nice feel to it, right? Nice feel to it, right? So who do I think the Browns should draft? It's a difficult one. I like the idea of having Abdul Carter and Miles Garrett as a two-part pass rush team. I think that'd be incredible. I'm not sold on any of the quarterbacks this year. So Thiago Guevara sends it in. It's headed in. Caprile, easy gather in the end. Momentum, though, is starting to end up in Benfica's favour. We're going to try and just kill game a little bit. So we're going to drop back down, that tempo down a bit. Going to drop the mentality down as well. Siklic was going to make way for Kari. Yeah, let's bring Kari on. Swap all these players around a little bit. Let's bring Carmona on for Elena Kana. That's going to see us go double advance forwards. We want one of our front three on support, so that'll mean an Ngunche for Xerxes. Bulgaria's knackered as well. He's going to be replaced by DeFeo. So we're getting a lot of young players out there, but I don't want to burn out our senior players early in the season. Theo Hernandez, like Milenkovic, is 33 years old. I want to spare him if I can, but here comes Fugo. Feeds Chiesa. Chiesa, that should have been a goal as well. Every time I say that should have been a goal, it turns out they're offside, so that's okay. Right, let's demand some more. It's all Benfica match momentum chart now. Evidently, dropping down to balanced hasn't helped us there. Here comes Guevara to Dante. Dante, no one's going to challenge him. He's going to just keep on running. Sends a low-end cross in, and that's Moreira. It's 2-1. Game on. Game on. Right, let's in fact go really, really attacking now. Let's try and get that third goal to kill things off. Dante, just no effort on there. Now, we know that Profundi isn't a great defender, but that shouldn't stop him from engaging. Get to the player, engage with them. Don't make it easy for a centre-back to run all the way through from his own half, completely and utterly untouched. Here's Roja, finds Profundi. Profundi goes back to Brignoni. Into Roja. Are we going to regret bringing on all those youth players? Here comes Fugo. Fugo to Thiago Guevara. Guevara down that side, sends it forwards. Brignoni cuts it out. Plays it inside. Here we go. That's some nice passing. Can Xerxes release a player? He finds Kari. Kari to Profundi. Profundi with the cross. Surely sends it low. Carmona to Kari. That was great work from Carmona. Beautifully saw the moment, passed it away. Was he offside though? He wasn't. That's what we needed. That is what we needed. Like that Kashovic kit looks like it's just missing an orange colour to make it kind of a tequila sunrise inspiration. That would be nice. That would be nice. Crommo is full of man flu and will die. Oh, Crommo, I hope you feel better soon, my dude. I hope you'll feel better. That's awful. Sherbs understands Crommo. Sherbs is also full of snot. I mean, Sherbs, isn't that what you get for going to the football at the weekend? All those people in a confined space. It's Xerxes shot. Good save from Matabolo. We win the corner. That's a different corner. We should have probably made another substitution at some point, but we're now into the last few moments. We'll see the corner. We'll see who we can bring on. Another corner. We've got 2 stoppages left, but just the 1 sub. Xerxes can make way for Benato. So, Fogal with the free kick. There's still 2 minutes left. Another goal for Benfica here. That could make things very nervy at the end, but Caprile reads the cross, comes out and claims. I was going to say authoritarian, meaning more that he claimed it with authority rather than, he's a dictator. Here we go. Carmona's in behind. Carmona, can he get this? Oh, Carmona didn't open his body up at all. Tried to play across it, and that's an awful, awful miss for the 19-year-old. Moreira, back to Arbelow. Here's Diego. Create space. It's a lovely foul from De Feo. That's what you do. Like, if you've messed up defensively, you don't let the player get away with it. You just take him out. De Feo's won me over there. I'm a fan of that. So, a pretty even game. We didn't necessarily deserve to win. Well, we didn't necessarily deserve to win, full stop. I was going to say by 2 goals. Werder Glimt are top after 1 game. They've got a +4 goal difference. And they beat... Man City beat Inter 4-0. And Werder Glimt beat Celtic by 4 goals. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. Let's get these guys rested up for the next game. It's a trip to Florence. Can't imagine that's going to be a particularly easy game. Nightcrawler's in. Welcome in, Nightcrawler. How you doing, my dude? How you doing, sir? How's your weekend? Quadmo is bemoaning me scheduling streams for when Quadmo's not around. The rude little man that I am. It's deliberate as well. It is completely deliberate. Even if I happen to find out that he's not around after I've scheduled things, it was still deliberate. So Nightcrawler saying that you won't mix up the Dembeles. Moussa D is a Streets Won't Forget player. The other is a player. I'm glad you've made sure that we won't get confused between Moussa Dembele and Moussa Dembele there. Beautiful stuff. So Iconez just finished watching the Everton video. Looking forward to seeing how the series plays out. You and me both. Season 2 should be really interesting as we have to adjust our game plan accordingly, and everything is very short term to start off with. So hopefully should be interesting. So right, PSG champions and nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares about PSG being champions. Let's be honest. So Andrew says, so no Travis Hunter. Interesting. I'm not convinced by Travis Hunter. I think he's a good player. A cracking player. I don't think the fact that there is some question mark as to whether he projects to be a wide receiver or a cornerback in the upcoming, well, for his career. I just don't think... So... The best way I think I can put it is that I feel there's something about Travis Hunter that makes me feel like he's a bit like, who's the best comp? I basically just think he's too cocky. That's probably the easiest way of putting it. He is I know that all those players tend to come with a little bit of swagger. I love Baker Mayfield because of his swagger. I also hated Josh Rosen because of his swagger. So, it swings and roundabouts. But I I don't know. Travis Hunter just feels like he's more caught up in the status of being a good player than proving he is a good player. I have a feeling he's going to flame out hard. Now, I say this fully aware, and I mean fully aware, that when it comes to predicting the trajectory of NFL players, I am very, very bad. I was convinced that Drew Lock was going to be the best quarterback of his class, so my judgment isn't great. But yeah, I just don't get that feeling. I don't get that feeling with Hunter. So Crudmo, I've done the Everton video, have you? The one that he cancelled a counterclass video featuring his very own Crudmo. Too much Everton content, as if there's such a thing. I haven't cancelled the counterclass video featuring Crudmo. I'm just not doing it. It's not going to be the next counterclass because we will end up with too much Everton. I am saving it down the line. So the next counterclass will be United Tamar. Brazilian Fury submitted a wonderful save heading into season 11, where he's come up against a troublesome Rennes side managed by Andre. So good they named him twice. So that's going to be the next counterclass, and there's going to be Everton videos for the Moneyball Clinic pretty consistently over the next. Well, I say consistently over the next few weeks. We've got the streamathon this weekend. Subsequently, that means there probably won't be a video next week because all my weekend editing time is going to be streaming. Right, let's make the changes for this game. That's going to be, let's give Roger the start. Or Roger, I have no idea how we're pronouncing his name. We'll bring Theo back in. Baglieri back in. Nico to partner Bove. Carmona back up front. We can play further ahead, can't he? No, he can't. He's got that weird... He's described as an advanced player maker, but he can't play behind the striker. So I think that's what we're going with. I think we're going with that, yeah. Cool. So more Crudmo, more party. No Crudmo, no party subsequently, indeed. Yep, you found a song to do. It's got to be. We've got the dance going as well. I can't remember exactly what it is for the Maracana, but you jump around and you clap at some point. I'll work it out in due course. Right, I'm going to say have fun. I'm going to try and relax the guys after we dropped an egg in the league last time out. Let's see how we get on. Right, love my assistant manager telling me to push up more. Already playing a high press with a much higher line. More Sherbs, more. There can never be too much pressing up, even if there isn't any further capability. Andrea loves Caprile. He's been amazing at Cagliari this season. He's a cracking player, to be fair. I was delighted that we were able to sign him. I mean, 47.5 million euros, pretty dear. Hopefully he's going to prove worthwhile. Right, Theo into Nico. There we go. We've seen the moment go. Let's keep an eye on the average positions. We've got. Is that a 4-2-3-1 with both wide defenders tucking in? So it looks like maybe an inverted wing back on the left and an inverted full back on the right. It's Nico Gonzalez. Carmona, it falls his way. No offside check or anything. I thought he would have been offside with the way that it bounced around. It's from a throw-in. It's from one of them dirty throw-ins. Baglieri cuts it back to Nico Gonzalez. He takes a shot. It bounces around. Carmona is on hand to swing a foot at it into the empty net. We're not even going to get a check. He looked offside to me. He looked really offside to me. Let's see if we can get the moment where Nico shoots. So if we go sideline here, we can't quite get the exact second of the shot. He's offside. He's offside. Both before the shot and after the shot, he's offside. There we go. I think it is fair to say we got lucky there. And we look at both those angles. He is definitely beyond the last man, unless they're considering it a deliberate touch by the defender. Maybe. Goddamn North Norwegians, down with them. I mean, Zerachal, it's even in a virtual world, the Norwegian representation has to be worth something, right? Right, here we go. Can we get a second? Milenkovic plays it to Gonzalez, out to Baglieri. He has to turn inside, feeds it back to Milenkovic. Right, Baglieri. They've got 4 men out defending this wide area, which means we should have players over like Elena Kana. It's a great save from Gregor Nubel. Gets across, pushes it behind for the corner, which is to be taken by Theo Hernandez. He swings it to that far post, and Carboni gets it clear. Our silly idea with the corners probably isn't working as well. It should be noted. Right, so Rocher picks up a yellow card. Bove picks up a yellow card as well. I swear he's picked up a yellow card in the first half of every game so far. Hernandez picks up one as well. Carmona with a shot. That's over. So Nightcrawler says, for Sherbert over on Twitch, when your ass man says to push up more, he does not mean more than now, but more in absolute terms, as opposed to much more, which is your setting. Fair enough. For Sherbs, sorry. No, I'm going to be calling Sherbs Sherbert from now on. I love that. Love that. Here's Baglieri. Let's get a second before time's up. Elena Cano attacks it. Guzman gets there first, though. Theo to the second ball. Cross in low. Diego Carmona absolutely slams it home from maybe 2 yards out. He gets across that near post. No one to stop him. The keeper in no man's land. 2-0. 2-0. Right. Guzman did well to get his head ahead of Elena Cano. Theo absolutely drills it in low. Carmona coming across right in time. The goalkeeper didn't even sense the danger. He was still stood in the middle of his goal because goalkeepers are rubbish when it comes to low crosses. 2 goals for Carmona. We can see that they're having some joy down the right-hand side. We're getting into wide areas. They're not really influencing the game quite so much behind the strikers at the moment. And that is Xerxes' realm. And half our team are booked. So hands in pockets, hands on hips. Hands on hips. We can do better. We've done all right, but you can do better. And so, you are asking, Nightcrawler, Demi Roher is Dutch, was signed on loan from Paris Saint-Germain, though. So Draw says, this is the type of derby. The Fiorentina manager Almeida was a player for Inter in the past. That's quite cool. Have they got, wait a second, it's Mathias Almeida, their manager. Who is Mathias Almeida? Is it a different Almeida? So how do we deal with this? Ruggeri's a good player. I feel comfortable having Ruggeri on the pitch. I think I'm changing all of them. Heze's a more defensive option than Kari. I just feel so uncomfortable with booked players. I'm going to ask you to stay wider. And then we'll do individual for these guys and tell them that we have faith. With throw-in merchants, absolutely. Crummo says that goal was worthy of Liverpool. It was disgraceful. Zerchal's not even happy about virtual Berdeglimt. Hates all other teams. That's fair enough. Nevsky's in. Welcome in, Nevsky. How you doing, sir? You've left Nuremberg on your save. We were 6th in the Zweite Bundesliga. You're now at Freiburg doing my own Christian strike. 7th in Bundesliga with 9 games left. Fantastic work, Nevsky. How far into the game are you now? That's incredible stuff. So Mr. Echo says, I think you pronounced Baglieri wrong. It's Baglieri in Italian. I mean, I will try my best to remember, Mr. Echo. There was probably a very, very good chance that I will continue saying Baglieri because it's very, very fun to say. And then I can make, on occasional moments, I can make jokes about ball bags. Marcus is in behind. Brian is blocked. Right, another second half. We've come out a little bit flat from the looks of things. Parisi now coming forwards. Parisi being held up by Profundi. The cross comes in though. Beraldo gets it behind for a corner. I know I've just bought on a load of players because of yellow cards, but let's fire these guys up. We need a little bit more fight. A little bit more fight. Right, Brian. Xerxes gets back. That's okay. Momentum, once again. We're seeing it again. Momentum in the second half in favour of Fiorentina. Here, though, is Baglieri. Sends it into Elena Kena. That will do nicely. That is surely game over now. Surely game over now. We're throwing merchants. We are throwing merchants. Merchants? I now can't pronounce even the T in the word merchants. Elena Kena peels off to the far post, wins the header over Michael Coyote. That makes us feel a little bit better now. 15 minutes in. That's better. That is better. Ruggeri with a corner to Heze on the edge of the area. Heze back out to Ruggeri though. Here's the cross. Elena Kena is the target once more. He can't get there. Baglieri sends the cross in. Madueke with some great defending. They managed to clear their lines, but only to Ruggeri. 10 yards or so inside Fiorentina's half. Plays the 1-2. Sends the cross into the far post. Carmona looking for his hat-trick. Gets there, but heads it wide. Can't quite get enough on it. Immediate new highlight. We win the header. Xerxes tries playing it out to Ruggeri, and now along comes Marcos Antonio. Marcos Antonio sends the cross in. Baglieri wins the header, and it's going to fall to Brian. Brian holds it up. Loses out, wins it back again. Here he is now, feeds Bedini. Bedini to make it 3-1. Shots blocked. Ruggeri gets it clear. Pressure still coming. Marcos Antonio once more down this right-hand side. Sends across low. Baglieri cuts it out. Heze keeps it in. Heze now down to Ruggeri. Chance just to maybe take a breather, or not. Here comes Xerxes on the counter-attack. Finds Carmona. Carmona turns inside. Sends it down the left for Ruggeri. He sends it low. And George Elena Kena. Elena Kena. Whoa. Right, Ruggeri into Elena Kena. 4-0. 4-0. We've used 3 subs up at half time, so we don't really need to force any changes here. As Heze looks to make it 5, it's a good save from Nubel. But Elena Kena might be on a hat-trick. We've taken him off before when he was on a hat-trick, but he has played most of our games, and so I am mindful of how exhausted he is. So Nightcrawler would simply pronounce it Demi Royer. That makes sense. Oleg says you're sad Cole Palmer's leaving Chelsea to Villa for 30 million. How far into your save is that? That's incredible. With a British non-rhotic So expecting me to understand anything about pronunciation using non-rhotic. Nightcrawler, what kind of informed human being do you think I am? Don't be daft. So Night of Nee has posted it in the stream chat so I can check it later. Super, thank you very much, Nee. And we have a DM bassist in. Welcome in, my dude. How are you? How was Santander? How was Santander, my man? Right, shall we bring off Xerxes? On comes Bernardo. Have some fun. Have some fun, lad. So Demi Royer sounds like the name for the hot girl next door. I mean, it does. It does quite a bit, doesn't it, Nightcrawler? Here's Nico. Out to Baglieri. Baglieri with the shot. No, I'm sorry. I can't do it. Baglieri just feels more fun to say. And they're not a real player. So I can pronounce his name however I want. And in fact, I'm going to pronounce his name George. I'm going to forget that I said that. As Carmona with the hat-trick. Don't ruin it for him, ref. Don't ruin it for him, ref. It was a lovely volley. The perfect way to seal the hat-trick. And you want to ruin his day. You don't just want to ruin his day. You have ruined his day. Wow. I hope you're happy with yourself. I hope you're happy with him. That wasn't offside. That was no more offside than his first goal, at least. So Nevsky, you're just about to finish your 3rd season. You're at Nuremberg for nearly 2.5 years. You watched the Christian Stoke video about 10 times, just love it. So I'm basing my manager off him now. I've got the Freiburg job. Sounds amazing. Sounds awesome. I hope it goes well. Now, Cromwell wants us to call Ruggeri too. No, fuck off. None of it. None of it. Players are going to get pronounced the way they get pronounced. Because I'm not going to remember whilst live in the moment. And then if I start trying to switch through, it's just going to be a cacophony of everything. So Baglieri is now George. Ruggeri is now Stephen. And that's it. 4-0. 4-0. We can deal with that. We can deal with that. That's a good response considering a defeat last time out. That is now 3 games we've scored 4 goals in the league. Very, very happy with that so far. Inter with a 5-2 win over Bari. Stay ahead by 1 point. But we have the better goal difference already. Let's get these guys rested up. And then it's Leverkusen. Leverkusen in the Champions League. We should hopefully as well be maybe only a couple of weeks away from the return of Leao. Although obviously delighted that Carmona's got his goals, so that's all cool. So DMBase's Santander was genuinely superb. Beautiful, beautiful city. Lovely people. If you ever go, brush up on your Spanish. They really don't speak much English. Fair enough. So the way I said it was non-rhotic. It means you don't pronounce the R like one of those Americans. Fair enough. Royer. I'm not going to remember. I'll try, but I probably won't. So Cromwell, I understand Mustermann. That's fine. I mean, I'm not called Mustermann anyway, so doesn't really make any difference. So having reread The Godfather whilst on holiday, I feel my pronunciation would be perfect. Get in here, DM Bassist. Get in here. So gone back. Any tips on how to deal with sudden drop in performance? I always change formation and hope to find the solution, but it just makes everything worse. So gone back. When I'm not very good at it on stream because I play slowly at the best of times, so I like to keep things moving if possible. But if you pop on over to, you're on YouTube already. If you look through some of the PAOK/Zaragoza series, there are a couple of videos on watching through your tactics to actually identify where the errors are. And there's one video in particular which has a drawing of the goalkeeper looking in despair on the floor, which is all about players making mistakes, it being natural, but looking for what is a mistake that's in the moment and what might be a tactical issue that you can fix. I can't remember its exact name off the top of my head though. Right, so George, Stephen, it's a very empirical approach to meeting the natives. It is a little. It is, unfortunately. Sergio, can we hire you for a little bit of concrete boots and horse heading? Absolutely. Absolutely. I wonder how Darmstadt started the season without Mustermann. Should I use player lookup to see it all? I mean, we're only 5 games into the season, Mr. Echo. That there's so little information that can be gathered at this point. Remind me again when we're like 10 games, sort of like a quarter of the way through the season. I think that might be a good point where we can then get a little bit of an idea. Oslo, I'm going to assume that you are gone back and I've just answered you. But do let me know, Oslo, if you're not, because the wording seems to be exactly the same on the question there. I am feisty today. I am feisty. You see what's happened, Krubmo, is I've been making videos for just over 18 months. And part of my process for videos involves going through and watching commentary of players' names in their native language. So I go out and I spend literally hours looking for something that gives me the correct pronunciation of something like Josip Shotalo. And then when I do it in the video, I still get someone in the comments saying, that's wrong. So what's the point in making effort, eh? What's the point in making effort? If you put research in, you listen to it in its native setting, and you're still told it's wrong, might as well not bother. Right, let's head on over. We've got DM Basis just said that bingo is on cooldown. Did I miss a bingo? I was just going to say RJ has claimed bingo a few moments ago, so we're just going to head on over and play it. First, I'm going to hydrate a little. So here we go. Here we go. I need to pop there, and let's that one there. Cool. So, Zake Beats, by the way, welcome on in. Hope you're okay. I popped the link there for the skin. That's not going to be the exact same skin that you see on stream. The ones on stream is not publicly released, I'm afraid. Now, for those guys that haven't played bingo before, let's explain how it works. Head on over to that link that I've just popped into chat, and every single player will get themselves a unique bingo card with 16 squares on it. Those 16 squares will contain nations or clubs or competitions or awards. Then every single player gets the same pool of 60, that's 60 players, revealed one after another. We've got to work out whether that player that has just been revealed matches one of the criteria on our bingo card. If it does, click on it. Maybe they match multiple. You've got to choose which one you want to click on. Maybe they match none and you'll need to skip. By the end of the 60 players, you want to have all 16 squares filled in. Maybe you managed to do it beforehand. Maybe you don't manage to fill the card at all, and you've missed one or two. It happens. Once you click on a square, though, that square's locked in. You can't undo it. You can't put another player on that square, so be careful. We're going to give it about another minute or so. Another minute, maybe a minute and a half or so for people to join, and then we'll head on over into the game. Right, everyone's got to beat quad mode. Everyone has to. DM base, is it really a hydrate if it's Pepsi? It's liquid. That counts enough, right? Just about, maybe. You can take the boy out of St. Albans, but you can't take the St. Albans out of the boy. I mean, yeah. No. Nightcaller, we had this talk about Leonhardt. I remember fondly how I was correct and pissed at any native commentator that would absolutely say Lionheart. I will get you the specific ones as well, because trying to find the biggest problem I have, obviously, with looking up player names as well when they're defenders, is finding highlights where their name is mentioned. Because if I'm trying to search highlights of Freiburg from 5 years ago, for example, you're looking at maybe things that focus just on goals. It's easier to find those 2-minute highlight pieces that just show goals, and then if he's not scored one, you don't know he's going to be involved in the build-up, and then you're just going through highlight after highlight after highlight. Half the time they don't have any commentary at all. Oh my word. Oh, it is unnecessary effort. Unnecessary effort. Right, we said a minute and a half. That's a minute and a half. Let's head in. 10-second countdown. Girders, mate, girders. Girders indeed. It's a source of iron and brew. 30% of your recommended daily allowance of brew. Mustermann's Nya genuinely made me laugh in the literal sense. Fabulous. I'm pleased to oblige. David Fratesi is a player I really like, but we're going to let that run through. I'm not sure he would have actually met any of those criteria either. We've got 1987 Pedro. I'm going to guess that's the one that Lazio, but I'm not sure. Jorginho coming in now. Jorginho must match one of these criteria, but I'm going to let that run. No, I'm not. I'm playing Champions League. Wasn't that when he was up for the Ballon d'Or shouts because they won everything? Jordan Ayew up next. Jordan Ayew probably matches some of those, but I'm being slow. Eduardo Camavinga. What a player Camavinga is. Did he come from Lille? I actually don't know. George Best. George Best, quite famously, was Bosnian. George Best was definitely around whilst Bosnia and Herzegovina were recognised as a state in that form, I'm sure. Peru's finest, Nobby Solano. What a player Solano was. Marcelo Salas. I don't know, and I'm not feeling it with Salas. Maybe he won the Copa America at some point. Didier Deschamps. Quality player. Absolutely incredible player. I'm pretty certain he should... Bulls. Juan Foyth. Definitely been managed by Emery. I can feel confident with that one. Enzo Fernandez. So he's won the Copa America surely with that Argentina team that beat Brazil in the final a few years back, as was Gonzalo Montiel. Now Montiel, I can't remember which Spanish club he plays for. I feel like it's a Sevilla, a Valencia, one of those types. Musa Sissoko, it's not Musa Dembele, so that's something, right? Tanguy and Ndombele. What nationality is Tanguy and Ndombele? I feel like I should have known that one. Sadly not. Takafusa Kubo, we'll let that one skip. Jordi Alba. I'm going to be skipping that one as well. Marcus Llorente. I don't think he matches any of those. Haritz Arderiz. Okay, I'm not feeling confident with any of it. Arderiz seems... Let's put him as Europa League. I never know on those ones. I'll say that every single time it comes up, so we'll just have to live with it. I think Ismail Assar is Senegalese, but I'm not confident on that one. Pau Lopez. Pau Lopez is the one who's currently at Marseille? Goalkeeper, right? Jan Koller. Did Jan Koller ever end up in Netherlands? Either way, we're not going to be using that anyway. So Luka Modric, surely he arrived after Beckham had left. So we'll let that one run out. Marouane Chamakh, I'm pretty certain he was at Lille. Yeah, we're going with that one. Nicolas Pepe, Ivory Coast. Martin Caceres was at Juventus. El Hadj Diouf. No idea. Maybe he played in the Dutch top league before he moved over. Mario Hermoso. Don't think he matches any of those. Roy Mackay. Surely he's played in Netherlands. Zé Roberto is Brazilian. Abelardo, we're going to skip on. Kepa, we're going to skip. Kevin De Bruyne, famously also Bosnian. Rajanangalan. Sead Kolasinac, we can play that one. Pjanic. Seb Larson. Alexander Isak. Oscar Cardozo, Brian Cristante, Dani Alves, Gigi, Bieri, Nana, Tosin. Are we going to see... we're looking probably for 2 Man United players to come up in the last 10 now. So Ashley Young won't have played with Beckham surely at international level. So we'll play that with Inter. Raul with Beckham. Let's go with that. So Marouane Chamakh did not play for Lille. That was like one of the few that I was confident on. Arderiz I definitely wasn't confident on. There we go. Bulls made a huge mess of that, says Crudmo, as he's almost finished his top. But Roman sweeps in there right at the death. Beautiful work. Beautiful work. Sherbs, honestly, what does it take to get an A from the fans in the transfer market? Sure, you sold our star player, but he wasn't performing anyway. I bought in much better players. Just give me the validation game. Ignore the fans. Fans are idiot. As long as you get an A from the board. Actually, they give out A's just for signing players on cheap wages. So, there we go. So, there are a couple more results, I believe, to come in. We will hold on. But right now, Roman is top spot, getting himself 5 points for getting 15 out of 16 correct. Then Crudmo and Bob, joint second. Draws in 4th. And then we have a 5-way tie for 5th with Jabbits, DMB, Johnny Trotter, FMGNG. It's tight. It is tight. That is some incredible work. In fact, there's a couple moments left to go, and we've got a regular ad break coming up. Not one that I'm going to take, but does mean that some of you guys are going to might end up catching ads coming up. Let's see. Good job, guys. Well done. So that one there. Piss off, Quadmo. Exactly. How dare he that says all this? Oh, I did so bad, and then finishes quite high. Sherbs, you're not bottom. Well done. RJ, guess I'm stuck around the 30 points at the moment. Better than the 21 from last time. Well, on that basis, you're going to be around 39-42 next week. And then it's just going to be bingos every single time from there on. Incredible. That trajectory is set and guaranteed. Right, what changes are we going to make for this game? After that, we've got Atlanta coming up. So let's get Buffandi in. Let's get Steve in. We're going with Bataru getting a start up front, which means we're going with an Ngonche. Ngonche. Kari to come in. Bove's played, I think, most of the games. So let's swap them around. Let's put Kari on the right, Gonzalez on the left. How do I feel about De Feo getting a start? I feel okay about that. Let's give Beraldo a little bit of rest. Something like that. So Milenkovic will start the game. We might need to bring him off. We might need to change both centre backs maybe at half time, just so that we aren't putting ourselves in a position where Milenkovic is having to play lots of 90-minute runs. But we'll see. We'll see how things go. Bayer Leverkusen managed by Ruud van Nistelrooy. Players aren't feeling very responsive. Right, that was too much scalp revealed there. So Scott, welcome in, my dude. Great Everton video, Mr. Musterman. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Jas has just said it's Bordeaux. Shamak was from Bordeaux. You are right. Well, of course you're right, and I was wrong. That was evidence. Indeed, it was. Sherbs, you got a C+ from both. Oh, C+ is rotten. Who are Roman and Bob? They're Chelsea owners, indeed. Draw. Thank you very much for coming by. Really, really appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully see you next week, my dude. Sherbs asks, is there any way to see which managers you have the best records against? I don't think there is, easily. I don't think there's a screen that just gives you your record against different managers. Obviously, you can go club by club and look at past history against their manager. Or is it against managers of their club? No, it's against the manager specifically and the multiple clubs. But you've got to then go to a club that already has it, as we're 1-0 down. Kai Havertz. Okay, so home. Home appears to be an issue. We're 1-0 down. We lost the game at home to Napoli. We did beat Sassuolo quite comfortably at home. But that's, of the 3 games at home, we are now behind for the second game in a row. Let's see what they're doing in particular. Or not, because we're going to have another highlight immediately. Here's Nico to Ruggieri. Ruggieri takes the shots, blocked. Lumi's in. Welcome in, Lumi. I hope you're doing well. Lovely to see you. Kai Havertz homecoming tour it is. Kai Havertz knows how to get the better of me. Here's Milenkovic, though. with the equaliser from the corner. Our stupid corner routine has worked. Is it the same save? It is the same save, Lumi. So, where did we leave off? We were stepping down from Darmstadt at the end of the season, I think, when you were last in. And that's what we did. And we applied for the job at Tottenham. We applied for the job at AC Milan. AC Milan said yes. So, it unfortunately, not a particularly interesting story as to how we ended up at AC Milan. The job became available because Mikel left for Chelsea. We said we'd like that job. And AC Milan said, okay then. Quite nice, really. San Siro is cursed by Blue Neri, evidently. So it's a 4-3-3 this time we're up against. Maybe it was just a bad start. We seem to have had... We did have a highlight before they scored. We've had all the highlights since as well. So we do need to take one of these chances, though. Carry, though. Forced backwards to De Feo. De Feo... Could have gone down the line, though. He didn't. He plays it back to inside. Roja to Xerxes from distance. Xerxes. Oh, Tom DeLorge. Tom DeLorge, the former Blink-182 singer. That was shocking. He could have saved that easily, surely. That should have been saved. De Feo moved it to Nico. Across to Roja. Roja feeds Xerxes. Takes a touch. Turns. Fires it from distance. It's a good height for the goalkeeper. It's not right in the corner. Francois Javier Delorge will surely be disappointed with that. But can Leverkusen respond? Bakayoko with the corner. In at the near post. Van Bommel rises, heads it over. So, Quadmo, Johnny, you've explained with the save indeed. Yeah, we were fighting for EU last time, remember. Yeah, we managed to finish. We finished 7th. We got ourselves qualified for Europe last time. We did lose the Conference League semi-finals to Sassuolo, 1-0 over both legs. Here's Xerxes coming away with it now. Profundi. Surely inside to Carry. That's nice. Carry can drive forwards. Plays it across to Nico instead, though. And we're going across to the left-hand side. De Feo. No, he's switching play. He's switching play and it wasn't on, but that's okay. Milenkovic easily gathers to Roya. Into Kari, to Xerxes, Carmona. Fatawa is offside. Lovely, slick, one-touch passing for a moment. Nothing comes of it in the end, unfortunately. So DJ Ole Rumenak, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on in, my dude. Sakronmo asks, what happened to Zenergy? It's a great shot into the side netting. What happened to Zenergy? Used to have my name, then changed it back. Now he's disappeared. Just saying. Zenergy comes and goes. He's around every now and then, but evidently the lack of Quadmo not dropping everything to make sure he's in the streams has affected me directly. That's very selfish of you, Quadmo. Clip that goal and send it to Amram. That's all you need to do. Just tell Ruben Amram all you need to do is get the ball to Xerxes and let him shoot from distance, kind of at a position where the goalkeeper should save it, and hope the keeper's a little bit rubbish. So we started off well, but then dropped off, despite conceding the first one and turning it round. I want us to push that tempo up a little higher. Let's be a little bit more urgent. Let's try, as we say, we want one on support. Let's pop it for Taru behind the players and see how that does. Feel like De Feo's not done anything majorly wrong, but not necessarily been good. We probably won't play out the game with De Feo, but let's see. Maybe give him another 20 minutes or so. Right, Fataru. Playing in that deeper role now. Loses out the ball on the left-hand side. Pereira into Adil. Adil plays it out wide to Oz. Let's go with Kunate. Van Bommel back to Kunate. They're just playing it between them. Just going to take their time. Wait for the opportunity to come available. And here it is. Van Bommel is free of his man for a moment. Plays it back to Havertz. Van Bommel is free of his man once again. Profundi, pay attention, my man. Here's the cross. Bakayoko down to Frimpong. Frimpong with the equaliser. That was nice. Nice play from Bakayoko. Brings the ball down. Sees Frimpong there in space on the edge of the box. Frimpong's shot is low. Across Caprile. I feel like Caprile could have saved that, though. I feel like Caprile could have saved that. Here we go. That's bad angle from Nico. Kind of got beyond the ball. Everything about that was quite poor defensively. So let's start to go a bit more attacking. I don't think we've had a shot for quite a while now. Nico, under pressure, gets it back to De Feo, to Roya. Kari, their pressuring is really, really good. I want to see us with that kind of intensity, so we might need to turn that up. Carmona. Carmona from the angle shoots. Delorge tips it round the post. Let's let the shout happen. And then, come on. Up, all the way up. Let's get some pressure on them. Ruggieri. To Nico, to Roya. Roya out to Ruggieri. Ruggieri sends the cross low. And that's for Tawu. That's a great block from Frimpong. Sensational defending. That should have been 3-2. Ruggieri with the corner. Sends it in to no one. To no one. Isaac Zaka, welcome in, my dude. Loved the Everton video. Was confused by what you mean by prioritising safety when choosing the players. So, as I explained in the next sentence, that I don't know how to explain it other than I explained it in the video. So we looked at players based on their metrics and those kind of areas that I talked about for each one as we went. And then when we had multiple players that matched the criteria, I prioritized those that didn't lose the ball particularly much. I don't know how to say that otherwise. I'm sorry. Right, let's start to make some changes, and that's going to be for Taru off. For Taru off for Bonato. He will be that. Heze is coming on for Nico. Bulgaria is coming off for Beraldo. We're going to send De Feo on an attacking journey. We'll pop him on support. We'll swap these guys round. We're going to have the Mazzala on that side. Because he's on support, we won't ask him to stay wider. And let's see how that goes. DM bassist, correct, this is not in the database, I'm afraid. I can say. So, the hydrates are coming in. Oh my. Hadley, Boniface to make it 3-2. It's a great save from Caprile. Shocking defending. They carved through us with ease there. We've made the changes now. Hopefully that will be the help shore things up. From the corner though, immediately we see a chance. So we asked our players to close down with more intensity. We haven't necessarily done so. Momentum is all Leverkusen. Here's a chance from a corner. It's going to be Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz sends the cross in. Milenkovic gets it clear. Ferreira, though, pokes it back into Havertz's path. Ferreira sends it back to Havertz. Havertz. Heze can't cut it out. Somebody, close down. Somebody. Pay a challenge in. Anyone. That's it. De Feo gets across, and it's going to end up being a penalty, isn't it? There we go. Don't close players down. I'm wrong. Ignore me. Don't close players down. That was bullshit. That was a wonderful challenge from De Feo. Boniface to take the penalty. Here's the comeback from Bayer Leverkusen. We are getting out some very mean words. We're going to tell them that they're all poo-poo heads. We might tell them that they're nincompoops. We're most certainly going to call at least one player an Egypt. So Elena Kana on. Xerxes on the right now. Elena Kana. Dropping down to positive because we... We need to put pressure on. See if that will help us get the ball forwards. Let's see how we go. So it's very clearly explained. Thank you. No worries. Best explainer with a funny hat. Funny hats are always the important. So, RJ already said that Koretsa sadly isn't there indeed. He's only 15-16 at the start, sadly. Match fixing it is. I mean, I don't think there's ever been a penalty that's looked like a penalty, to be fair. Here's Bayer. Back to Frimpong. Sends it back to Bayern. That's got to be 4. Palacios forces a great save out of Caprile. We need to work this out. We need to diagnose why we're so bad at home. I say so bad. Why we've lost 2 out of our 3 games at home. We've still got a few moments left, so let's pop these guys up. We'll bring Theo on. We'll push these guys into that half. Play more direct. Because this has been a funny stream. To lose at home to Napoli, to lose at home to Bayer, and then to absolutely destroy Fiorentina. As Palacios makes it 4-2, that's game over. Oh boy, we are really bad at home. What's the difference? That's worrying. That is very, very worrying. I am shocked. Shocked, I tell you. Welcome on in, Retro Gamer FM. Thank you very much for the raid. How was your stream, sir? I hope you're doing well. You have arrived as everything is falling apart. We are heading for our 2nd defeat in 3 games, both at home and within this stream. Welcome on in. Yeah, how's everything going? Why are we so bad at home? So Coritiba isn't here, but that deserves a throw water bottle. We were warming up to it after the first home defeat. We just told them they were a little bit rubbish, but now we're going to throw that water bottle. They deserve it. Absolutely atrocious. And yet, by comparison, we've won 3-1 and 4-0 away from home. Our next game is home against Atalanta. We need to look into this. We absolutely need to look into this. Egypt's galore. A team full of Egypts. Is it all over for Sad Musterman? It might be. It might be. Hello, Panji. Lovely to see you. Hello, Jack in 1984. Welcome on in. Mini counterclass within the stream to figure this out. Quite possibly. Retro Gamer, I was falling apart but started to bring things back around. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Are you still going with Newcastle at the moment? You're still doing the whole signing the players that they signed in real life in that beat? You can't do a counterclass when your rival is all other managers. We can, though, start to look into what it is that has been an issue. Now, we struggled against the back 3. I'm kind of completely fine with. We will need to, against the back 3, we're going to need to bring that line of engagement up. We're going to need to engage them in their half, because it was very difficult for us to get hold of the ball. When we made those changes, we did kind of rally late on. So I kind of feel okay with my knowledge from the Napoli game. That Leverkusen game, I genuinely have no idea why we were so shit. I mean, when we did react in the end, in fact, we scored our 2nd goal and everything was rubbish since then. We should have scored another. So let's take a look. We're doing okay. We're not losing the ball too much in deep areas. I'm seeing the number 5, Beraldo's being quite careless once he's in those more advanced positions. So maybe the Caraleros aren't offering great enough passing options for our defenders there. We're losing the ball a lot down the sides. Look at this, Tommaso Profundi. The wing backs aren't working. I think that's the issue. A lot of possession loss from these guys. So, I think we have to use the cut inside with ball thing, which stops them from just running down into well, it reduces the amount of times they just run into an easy tackle. I'm also going to ask them to dribble less to stop them from running into easy tackles. I don't want them to take fewer risks right now. So we will keep them wider though. So I want them to be in those wide spots, but when they've got an opportunity, I don't want them to try and dribble past their man. Ronaldo came on, lost the ball quite a few times in this area. Sure, we were playing a little bit more attacking there. I wonder what happens if we go with someone a little bit more aggressive ahead of them. Note they're playing with an attacking midfielder. Let's just go for a defensive midfielder. So maybe not, essentially not as passive at least in midfield. And we'll try that, see if maybe the Cavalleros were kind of, because they move laterally, maybe they're on top of each other a little bit more. Our strike force, we're going to have Elena Kana back in. We're going to have Xerxes therefore as a trequartista. So at least we can go back. We also made quite a few changes for that game. But that shouldn't be reason enough. A home game against a good side. No doubt, but still. Bove back in, Xerxes, Carmona, Elena Kana. Yeah, let's see how those things go. So, yes, mate, Man United team, you could cry. Is it that good? A front of Henry, R9, and Baggio. That is horrendous to face. My word. Unstoppable, you'd imagine. Pandy's in. Welcome on. How do you make the left side just for the icon and no words? Sorry for the bad English. So, Panji, over in preferences. Obviously, it won't be in English right now. Actually, let me just turn that bit off, which is fine. There should be a setting here which says sidebar icons only. Select that. Instead, figure how the counter is working against Milan. Apply the counter. The counter class would be amazing. Let's do an Everton then. Just demolish everything. Gegen counter. So, yeah, with regards to that, thank you very much for sharing the skin. But yeah, in terms of the icons, it is just an option in the preferences. Every single skin should have icons on the side. Unless you were talking about in-game, the icons on the text on the player shirts, which isn't something that's been released at the moment. You didn't know that. Thought it was part of your skin. So I normally have the full menu bar with words, but because I'm now streaming and I've got less real estate on the screen, I've ended up moving it down to this, which is why when I'm trying to work out where I need to go, I still don't know myself. Okay, guys, we're cooked. We are cooked. Inter destroy Napoli. Napoli have beaten us only a couple of games ago at home, and Inter absolutely destroyed them. Oh bugger, we're in trouble. So in other words, how's the left menu down to the icons only and not names? Indeed, exactly. I didn't know that. Thought it was part of your skin. No. I want your current skin. It's more practical. So, Mr. Echo, this exact version isn't currently available even for patrons, but something that is closer to it at a more traditional 16:9 aspect ratio is available to patrons. Let me pop that in the link over there if anyone wants to consider. I wouldn't consider it to be a perk in itself. I would consider it to be additive. You get some fantastic perks, but have a read around, see if you think it's something that would interest you. It's not though. Yeah, I'm not going to aggressively push it because I feel really, really uncomfortable doing that. Told you they cursed the San Siro. Evidently. So let's see how these changes shape up. Atalanta are another good team. There isn't a Crodmo command, sadly, I'm afraid. No Crodmo command. We'll have to add one in due course, right? They have Maldini, Vieira, Overmars, Zanetti, Lillian Thuram, and loads more. That is a crazy squad. Is there any weaknesses in their squad, Retro Gamer? Like, there's got to be like one weak link. Have they still got Phil Neville? Have they decided that despite having all those players, they'd rather start Phil Neville at left back? Now, don't get me wrong, Phil Neville was a good player, just not really in the same standard as a Maldini, a Vieira, an Overmars, a Zanetti, a Thuram. A Sapanji just bought Zambrotta for 190k. Nice. So are you playing? Is Zambrotta a right back and a left back in that database? Are you gonna which side are you gonna play him on? So Azaka asks, would you want Lookman to Villa in reality? Seems he'll be going to leave this summer. I've not heard any rumours about Lookman coming to Villa. I mean, I guess he kind of fits that same kind of profile we've signed quite a bit over the last few years. We've done, those direct, pacey runners. We've signed Marlon, we signed Moussa Diaby, then sold him on. We make use of Leon Bailey. We're kind of trying to do that with Marcus Rashford as well. So I suppose it fits the profile. So it works in the game model. I'm not necessarily enthused about Lookman particularly. I think he's a very hot and cold player. But then I think Marlon and Bailey and Diaby are very hot and cold players as well. So, maybe that's the plan, is to just have this large arsenal of pacey direct runners, and if they're not working out in the first half, we sub them off and we just bring on another one. Like the chances at least one of them is going to have a good game. Maybe it works out. So Retro Gamer, nope, they still gave him, but not starting. Still got Cantona and Cole. Awesome. So you're going to use him as defender right because you can use him midfielder right as well. And now you need a left midfielder. And Crudmo coming in suggesting Mark Pembridge. There's a throwback. What a glorious ginger man Mark Pembridge was. Here we go. Right. Let's get things right. Let's put things... So obviously we've only lost one game in the league so far. It's one defeat in the league, one defeat in the Champions League. We said 4 points from those first 3 games. So as long as we can respond with a good performance against Barcelona, then I'm not feeling quite as bad. Big if though. Big if. Just get gigs. I mean, you say too soon, Crudmo, but I mean, he's in the game, right? Arsenal say sign under 21s. Fair enough. I mean, they say it. You can still sign whatever players you want. So what? As long as you win games, they won't mind if you ignore their rules. If you don't win games and you ignore their rules, then it becomes a problem. Then it becomes a problem with the board. So it's a little bit of risk and reward there. Right. Rafael Leao isn't ready to come back yet. They're playing with Sudakov. They've got Rodrigo Riquelme. Coley, Sarr, Lalo, Mulder. Turati was a player that I think maybe could have been on our radar for goalkeeper. Right. George, Milenkovic, Beraldo. Hernandez back in. Royer, Gonzalez, Bove, Xerxes, Carmona, Elena Kana. I'm giving Bonato the... No, Xerxes scored in the last game. I can't drop him. What I can do is I can drop Royer. Let's give Gonzalez the start. Or Nico the start. Oh, so you just cook up by AC Milan. You just got cooked by AC Milan. 2-1, and that one goal at 89 minutes by Ian Wright. Imagine one goal at the second half. It's what happens. Good. I imagine that AC Milan side is pretty damn good as well. I mean, what the Italian teams in that era were just so stacked. So stacked. Yeah, I'm going to point the finger. I want to see an improvement. I believe you can do it, but I need to see it. So I do. El Bilal Toure has been recommended to us by the scouts quite a few times in the last few weeks. So I expect him to be the threat. So as we come forward, we could do with. So both those games we did concede early, but that shouldn't matter because that Bayer Leverkusen game we turned it around pretty early as well. So from a throw-in, Bove to Theo. Here's Xerxes. Xerxes sends it across. Off the post. Oh, George, you were so close. I can't be calling him George. I can't be calling him George, can I? Because we have George Elena Kana. Right, Beraldo. Can we send it out? Here's Hernandez. Back to Beraldo. And we go all the way back. This seems to be a recurring theme of us playing back through, us playing really, really slow. Granted, okay, since Darmstadt we've reduced the tempo. We now are playing slower, but we did change our in possession instructions and our transition instructions for when we came to Milan. The only thing we kept was the defensive instructions. As Sbaglieri, great save from Turati, but we're seeing a lot of very, very similar things. That we're not playing out of defense anymore. We ended up moving to passing shorter recently. We're still seeing this. There we go. So Crudmo says, it's a bit quiet on here tonight. Let's do Crudmo's the big question. What's your favourite sandwich filling? What a fine question. Now, it has to be just cheese. It's always cheese. As Elena Kana fires wide. Because cheese is the food of the gods. Johnny says, how much is the subscription to the Musterman Broadcast Network? I can't keep up with all these services needed to watch the Champions League. We charge a reasonable price. The way it works is I like to have a reward system in place, right? So if you stick around for a long time, you get a discount. So we start month 1 is £486 a month. Once you reach month 6, there's Xerxes off the underside of the bar. Oh, we've hit the woodwork again. This is better performance-wise, but we do need to start taking some of these chances. McCauley heads it away. Here's Hernandez. Hernandez just stands there, waits until he gets tackled, and away come Atalanta. Toure to Sudakov. Sudakov across. Bordoni out wide. Lilo has space. And then moves. So yeah, £468 per month to begin with. After 6 months, that drops down to a bargain 12p a month. But if you cancel at any time, it goes straight back up to 468 per month. Here's Lilo. Lilo, can he? I feel like there needs to be some kind of Fifth Element joke in there, but I can't think of one. Mert Mulder on the right. He's going to play it inside to Riquelme. Riquelme almost gets tackled, and there's Prestana. Oh dear. Oh dear. So good evening, nickname. Lovely to see you, my dude. So Panji is a fan of egg, sausage, and vegetable. Zerachul goes for chocolate spread because he's a proper adult. Chocolate spread with cheese, with cheddar. Johnny Trotter's been enjoying some chili-flavoured camembert recently. Sounds very fancy. Very fancy. Right, Saar gets it clear. Can we do something with the second ball? Here's Theo. Theo's got a score from there, and it's been saved by Turati. That's the difference at the moment. At the moment, the difference is very much finishing. Hernandez gets it in. Nico can't control it well. They get the ball away. Man, this is rotten. Right, Riquelme with the free kick. We get it clear. Carmona has a chance to break. Carmona running direct. No, now he's running away from the goal. Running far, far away. Maybe he can get the cross in. He can, and that's gathered by Turati. Does that mean that this is actually an Atalanta highlight? He sends it long. Raldo gets there. Nico plays it. Valieri out on the right. Sends the ball in early. Elena Kane is the target. Elena Kane heads over. Torre feeds Bordoni. Bordoni shoots across the angle. Caprile heads it over. Caprile heads it over there. So Nightcrawler likes Namberscher Rostbracht Forst with mustard. Diembasis was partial to a little bit of coronation chicken. Oh, and you're also partial to a ploughman's or a tuna and cucumber. I can't get on board with the tuna, I'm afraid. Zeratul doesn't go for Nutella. It's a thicker Norwegian brand called Nugatti. Nugatti sounds good though. Here's Kari. Sends the cross in. Okay, we've played really well. This isn't like the last two games. Like, last two games we lost because we were bad. This we've lost because we can't score. And that means we're bringing on Bonato. No. Bonato's coming on for Carmona. Xerxes, so we're getting that second big man in the box because we've connected with some of our crosses. The fullbacks are doing better. Let's get Kari to try and attack that space beyond. See if we can get a response, hopefully. Yeah, D-Boy Plays is in. Welcome in, D-Boy Plays. Now, have you been given a call out? Because Crodmo should most definitely know to give D-Boy Plays a shout out as Elena Kane scores. Yeah, Crodmo, if you could give D-Boy Plays a shout out. He's a fan of a crisp sandwich. It is a fine choice. A very, very fine choice, but it does matter which crisp you go for. Mr. Echo, though, Mr. Echo knows it cheese all the way, all day. It's Fernandez? That's what we're calling Theo Hernandez. Fernandez with the cross. Elena Kane, it takes him 4 chances to get a goal, but he does get a goal. It's a good start to the second half. Right, Caprile now with the goal kick. Sends it long. Pestana heads it. Here's Baglieri. Down the line now. Oh, you could have released him. Kari was in space there. We don't though. Milenkovic to Xerxes. Kari is holding his space up high, but now here comes Lilo. It's a bad pass from Milenkovic. Lilo, someone just approach him. All you need to do is, like, you see the man run. The man runs. He runs. You go to him. You don't just stand there and watch as he runs beyond you. You're bloody awful defenders as Bonato off the underside of the bar. That's another throwing goal. It's another throwing goal. We've turned it around. And we need to sort out our abilities to defend in those wide areas. It is an issue with the narrow defensive shape of a 4-4-2 diamond. He strikes it sweetly first time. Little bit of backlift off the underside of the bar. Right, Bonato's going to take that free kick. So we need to say, when these lovely boys get forwards, actually make an effort to close them down. Here's the Paolo Bonato. I love you. Paolo Bonato. It's a free kick. Turati moved across. Turati should have saved that. That was kind of like he got himself in the perfect position, and then when instead of pushing it over the bar, he just went all Toblerone gloves on it. Bonato looks to make it a hat-trick. He doesn't quite. So, Mr. Grizzly P's a fan of salt and vinegar flavour for a crisp sandwich. A DM bassist would go with super noodle. As in a super noodle sandwich or super noodle flavoured crisp sandwich. Because that latter would be quite a thing. Quite a thing indeed. Here's Hernandez. Hernandez to Kawi. That is an obscene turnaround. That is an obscene turnaround. So maybe Carmona as the advanced forward is the problem. Let's look at Elena Kana as a complete forward. Xerxes in that position, and then a Mazzala pushing forwards. Have a little bit more diversity in the way that we're approaching those attacking areas. So D-Boy players had a lot of fun with cheese and onion, Worcester sauce or barbecue rib of the Walker's variety. But I'll level with you. Any crisp sandwich is solid in my eyes. Fine choices. Worcester sauce Walker's. Incredible stuff. Absolutely elite flavour crisp. Right, Xerxes. No, we're keeping those guys on. That's fine. We're bringing off Bove. On comes Roya. We'll push Nico up. Valieri's coming off for... How about we're going to bring on Brignoni. Brignoni is a centre-back, but he's got excellent pace. The reason why he's a centre-back is because he can't dribble. He doesn't have great first touch. He doesn't have good crossing. But he has exceptional pace. And so we'll do that same thing. We've got dribble less on. We're just going to say take fewer risks. Let's try and discourage him as much as we possibly can from trying to do anything going forwards other than just being there. What cheese? You can't just say cheese. There are thousands of cheeses. There's like... I don't think that there is a favourite cheese. Any cheese in a sandwich is generally good, but it's got to be about the moment, right? You know, sometimes you feel like brie and cranberry. Sometimes you feel fancy and you just want like something like a croton de Chavignon, and that's going to be more of an open sandwich type thing. You know, like a nice goat's cheese with some caramelized onion, just plain cheese, just lathers and lathers of a strong, mature cheddar. Maybe some string cheese. Who doesn't like a little bit of a string cheese? I've never had a string cheese sandwich, but I'm going for it. Right, here we go. Nico with the shot, push behind. Krubmo's the big question has definitely set the chat alight. Nickname, how's the Milan adventures been so far for you? We're scoring a lot of goals. Nickname, but we've lost 2 out of... Well, after this game, it'll be 2 of our 4 home games, which is a little bit of a concern. We've been fantastic on the road. We've won all of our away games so far. We've only lost 1 game in the league, 1 game in the Champions League. It's still very, very early days in the season. But obviously, with a league like this, if we fall behind early, we could end up in trouble. So we want things to be as good as they possibly can be, as early as we can get them. Right, we're making those changes now. Ruggeri's on. Kari is looking knackered. But we've used all our substitutes now, so we will run with that. Right, Bonato changed the game, to be fair. Bonato changed the game. Huge difference maker. So Mr. Echo is a fan of Sulugani. It's like mozzarella, but more tasty. Sounds interesting. So DM Bassist had a really nice toasted sandwich with Taleggio cheese from the Italian bakery not that long ago. Hadn't had Taleggio before. Taleggio is lovely. You got some goose and oh wait a second, we're on to jams. I'm very sorry guys. I'm so far behind. I am so far behind on chat. I'm now jumping forwards to I fucking love cheese that DM Basis just said a moment ago. Cheese is the god of the elite. We're going to win the fucking league and eat lots of sandwiches with jam. Oh, did I miss the jam chat? Jam chat is important. What are I assume you guys have already covered it, but what are your favourite jams? Like, I think you can't go wrong with a traditional raspberry or blackcurrant, but something like a gooseberry's really nice, really tart. I'm a fan of curd as a jam as a jam, as a sandwich filling as well. A lemon curd sandwich. Right, jam chat cancelled. Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. DMB called me a basic bitch for liking blackcurrant jam. Embrace it. You are a basic bitch. I mean, but there's nothing wrong with being a basic bitch. I like blackcurrant jam. I will happily have a whole baguette's worth of blackcurrant jam open sandwiches. But it is basic. It is definitely basic. We got the turnaround. Maybe we've stumbled upon something that might work in terms of helping us see through those games. And we now have an ad break coming up in like 10 seconds. So with no further ado, I will see you guys in about 3 or 4 minutes. Right, we're back. And I see that Zerachul has redeemed bingo, so let's play a little round of that. And as we do so, I will try and catch up on a little bit of chat. First, though, I see that there's a lovely, the glorious, the beautiful, the most deliciously hirsute Dill 40k is here. He's about to watch the Everton Moneyball video. Lovely to see you, my dude. I hope you've had a good weekend. I hope you're feeling well. I hope that everything is good on your side. And then I'm going to send on over the wonderful link for the game of bingo. Now, I think most of you know how bingo works. It is a game of bingo. It's a simple game of bingo, but instead of numbers, you get players, and those players you need to try and match to an answer on your bingo card. Maybe they don't match it, and you just need to skip. Maybe they match multiple options there, but once you play, you'll kind of get an idea. So let's head on in. We're going to give it a couple of minutes before we play. So there's a chance for everyone to sign up. Now, I do apologise, by the way, D-Boy. Thank you very much for dropping by. How are you, sir? If you're still around, how was your stream earlier? So if you guys don't know, D-Boy is currently playing a... oh, he is here. He's just said that he loves this game. Perfect. D-Boy is currently doing a community save with a club created called Holsworthy Albion. So that all the players are players within chat. They've been able to redeem, I think it's subscriptions, gets you added into it, and then you can spin a wheel to improve your attributes over time. And they are absolutely tearing it up. It's all about fun. It's all about fun. It is silly. It is wonderful. They might be in Europe while still being a non-league team. That is how incredible it is. Great fun. So if you are ever around whilst D's streaming, most definitely go and check him out. Now, there was some more jam chat. Now, that's the bit that's important. We have some chutney chat. Chutney is good. Chutney is very good. DM based with a really spicy pineapple chutney. That sounds corking. Mrs. Crudmo's mummy did bring jam. West Cork raspberry jam. Very nice. Very nice. Is it homemade though? It's definitely homemade, but I don't think by Mrs. Crudmo's mammy. It doesn't matter too much, does it? Doesn't matter who it was that made it. As long as it was homemade, you can taste it. Just that love. I hope it's love and not something else. And now Zerachul did mention that we've got the Gamers Outreach this weekend. So this weekend, guys, as you may have seen during the break, I'm going to be taking part in the Gamers for Giving charity streamathon for Gamers Outreach. Gamers Outreach are a US-based charity that work to provide access to video games for hospitalized children. Now, those that were around during Christmas time will know that I did this 3-day stream for essentially just to make sure that there was a sense of normality going on over the Christmas period, so that if you were used to watching streams during that day, you weren't disrupted by the way that the festive period can disrupt you. And this is kind of along the same idea. By being able to make sure that children whilst in hospital can have some normality, they can have that fun and that adventure during what is otherwise a very scary time. So should be really good. We've got a lot of chaotic things planned for it. We'll be doing a hot sauce challenge based on different goals with the donations. I'll be shaving off my beard as well. We've got some retro kit coming so that you can make me wear more clothes whilst doing the hot sauce challenge. To really make me suffer. We'll have a wheel of chaos as well. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a little bit crazy, a little bit dumb, and it's going to be 3 days, 12 hours every day streaming as we try and do the Hexagon Challenge speedrun. That's going to be 6 trophies in just 3 days. I am definitely going to break. There is 100% chance that I will have a breakdown, I reckon, before the end of the second day. Now, I should be paying attention to the answers coming through here, which I'm not particularly, but doesn't really matter. So we're on to Laurent Blanc. Laurent Blanc, a wonderful defender. Used to kiss Fabien Barthez on his bald head before games as a good luck charm. Juan Sebastian Verona is also a quality player. Here we go though. Brad Friedel. We're talking of bald goalkeepers. He was at Liverpool during. Was he at Liverpool? No, he wasn't at Liverpool, was he? Ah well. I'm going to do bad anyway. It doesn't matter too much. Thorgan Hazard. I can't remember what clubs he was at, so I'm going to skip there. Gary Speed. What a player Gary Speed was. Was he at Everton? I know that's going to upset. I know that's going to upset Crudmo. So I might actually say that for every single answer. Was he at Everton? Robert Pires. Was he at Everton? David Platt. What a player David Platt was. Was he at Everton? Thomas Munier. Was he at Everton? I'll stop with this. I will stop with this. Gregor Kerbal. Gregor Kerbal. So we will go there. Vedron Korluka. There needs to be a managed by Harry Redknapp and signed multiple times by Harry Redknapp option. Jeremy Frimpong. We can't mention Jeremy Frimpong, not after he scored against us in the last game. That is just heartbreaking. You are cruel. In fact, we had that with Xavier Schläger as well. How often does the name have Xavier Schläger come up in just general conversation? And the moment after he has a great game for us, he appears in bingo. It's like they know. It's like they know and they're taunting me. Sickening. Sickening. So nickname says as if Everton fans could get any more upset. I mean, it's understandable. It's understandable. They're going to all, like an eternal sense of injustice. And by the way, Zorlalul, thank you very much for the follow a little while earlier. I do apologise, a little bit behind on chat there. Claudio Pizarro. I'm going to let that one run. Kevin Trapp. Lots of goalkeepers coming through. Lots of goalkeepers coming through. I don't think he matched any of those. Frank Rijkaard. Surely Frank Rijkaard has won the Champions League. We're going with it. We're going with it. Gabriel Magalhaes. We're skipping on that one. Serginho Dest. Naturally. Spanish top division Golden Boot winner, right? Charles de Ketelaere. So where's de Ketelaere been? Had the spell at Milan that didn't work out, went back to Atlanta. I feel like he's possibly done something else as well. Stanisic, we're going to skip on. Daniele Rugani, we're going to skip on. Christian Fuchs, what a name. What a name. Here we're going to skip there. Marko Arnautovic has played for everyone. So I feel like Arnautovic has got to play in Turkey at some point, right? I'm going with it. I'm going with it. Chesney. Skipping on that one. Gabriel Heinze. Did Heinze ever end up at Inter? I will never know. I will never know. Sadiboy Place has had a rotter. Vivo, that was awful. DM Basis has had a shocker as well. I have a feeling we're all feeling very much in the same boat right now. Quadmo will say he's had a shocker and he'll have got bingo or something because he's like that. He's like that, the bastard. Yeah, terrible from me again, says Quadmo. Right, he's definitely got bingo. Oscar Bob, we're skipping on. Sander Berger. Dennis Bergkamp. We're going with Ajax there. Ian Wright. Henning Berg. There's a player I haven't thought about. I'm not just in like for a long time. I just don't think about Henning Berg. He's not someone that is particularly high on my radar at any time in life. I'm going to assume that Argentina won with Batistuta at some point. Gary Medel has played for a load of teams as well, but I'm not feeling confident there. Fabio Vieira. Thiago Silva. Is there crossover with Giroud at Chelsea? We're going with it either way. Alan St. Maximan. Shay Given. Marek Hamsik. There we go. There's one I can feel confident about. Antonio Valencia. Has Antonio Valencia ever played for Inter? I have no idea. Ian Robben. João Cancelo. Corentin Tolisso. Samuel Eto'o for top scorer. Raul Mustafi. Thomas Muller. We've got 2 players left to find an Inter and Man United player. 2 options left. And could it be Sergio Aguero? It's not Sergio Aguero. So the last one, we're going with Inter and Man United regardless. The last one is Luis Suarez. Ah, bugger. I don't think we got bingo, lads. I don't think we got bingo. So Gregor Kerbel is Swiss, not German. Brad Friedel was not at Liverpool under Rafa Benitez. Can I see I can go back to the leader. Arnautovic never played in Turkey, and the last one we know. So that is some interesting results there. FMG&G continuing a strong one. FMG&G got a couple of first places last on Saturday, a couple of seconds, and he's in with a joint first place with Crudmo. Terrible from Crudmo with only 14 out of 16 right. Johnny Trotter in joint third with Roman. And then in joint fifth, we've got RJ, we've got D-Boy. Fabulous work there, guys. I think you've all done very, very well over what felt like an absolutely rotten board. So the Dutch FM says, can I install a bell at my home that will ring once you play bingo? Absolutely. We'll work out a way to connect the bell up to my OBS. I'm sure that can work somehow, right? Maybe. So the medical car haven't done well, but that's typical bingo. Hung them in, I'm shit again, but at least it's more than 30. It's a difficult game, guys. It's a difficult game. I think I'm generally happy with just getting any right. And we got some right. Just about. Fabulous work. So we now go on to international break. Hellas Verona, Catanzaro up next. Mr. Echo was saying we should identify what we did in the last game in the second half. So the changes we made at half time, we didn't change anything. We did change tempo up, didn't we, in the second half? That was all we changed. And then we moved one of the central midfielders to a Mazzala on the side that we put the deep lying forward in. And that was it. Those were the changes at half time. I say that was it. We changed the Enganche to a trequartista because we want a one striker on support, 2 on attack, setting up one. So we'll run with that for the next game, see how that does. Obviously, there are going to be nuances game from game, but generally speaking, even in the first half, whilst we were losing, we were playing well. We should have scored at least 1, if not 2 goals before half time, and we conceded to the first shot on target, which is slightly different to what we'd experienced against Napoli and against Bayer Leverkusen, where we were at home and we were just a bit crap. So it's difficult to say whether those changes obviously made an impact. We scored 4 goals in the second half. That's huge and massive. Oh, and a draw against Como means Inter have surrendered top spot. There we go. We are now top of the league after just 6 games. Crudmo said, Zerachol disappointed to be beaten by Crudmo. We're all disappointed to be beaten by Crudmo. Cream rises to the top, but scum also floats. No comment, my dude. No comment. Zerachol was the early ones that screwed me over. The food talk had me distracted. Oh my! I'll be honest, guys. I will be as earnest as I can possibly be. There was a point during that last break where I was like, I really need dinner now. I really need dinner. All that talk, and it wasn't even talking about cheese. It was jam. Jam has sent me over the edge. I am now feeling very, very, very hungry. Bajic wants to play first team football. How much did they sign Bajic for? They signed him for €2 million. It's currently rated between 2 and 4 million. We will say yes. Cool. Bajic can leave in the next transfer window. That's absolutely fine. We've got a young goalkeeper that we'd like to see. Well, we sent him out on loan to develop. Not Michael Massey, but it's something Massey. Marco Massey. He's gone out on loan in Finland, where he's doing okay. He's only 19 years old, but he's got excellent agility. Just needs to improve his rushing out mainly for me. A little bit better in terms of anticipation as well. And then it's just consistency. It's just getting used to playing games at a senior level. And I think he's got a good future ahead of him. Ooh. That's a proper under-20s game. Do we have an under-20s friendly coming up at any point? We don't have a spot for an under-20s friendly. It would have been nice if we could have done, but let's see. Let's clear the squad. Let's see how many of these players we can choose. 1 player over 21, 5 over 20. So who would be the player over 21 I most want to get us some playing time? The owl's still quite a bit off. I think all of our players over 21 isn't... Profundi's over 21. He's our over 21 then in the squad. Wignoni's 19. He's 20. That's fine. The Nato... See if we can get him completely sharp. Otherwise, we're good there. So Johnny Trotter says to be the best, you have to beat the best. Very true. Very true. Zerachal, wife is making as we speak. You've got it sorted. You've got it sorted. Damien, you're in. Welcome in. How you doing, my dude? Has he leaked his Super League tactics yet? I don't even know what my Super League tactics are going to be yet. There's a possibility, because I need 2 draws, that we might be going 5-5-0-0-0. Possibly we're going to, as I said in chat, we're possibly going to go with the 4-3-3 that we used against Naufel. I quite like that. Maybe if we lose the first game and we really need to beat you in the second game, there's a possibility we go for a 2-5-3. I've got some thoughts there. We'll see. Still no tier 3 emotes. I'm afraid not, Damien. It takes me a lot of time to do all the creative stuff. And with getting videos out and preparing for this weekend's charity streamathon, I just don't have time. But I will be when I can. It's only at tier 4 and above, indeed. Well, it's only if you sign up for the Musterman Broadcasting Network at £483 per month for the first 6 months. 12p a month thereafter. Massey won't follow the rules anyway. That's why I like him. We should see what's his eccentricity rating. That's the key. Let's go back to Marco Massey. Is he eccentric? Is he bad at following rules? His teamwork's okay. His eccentricity is very low. Boo, that's not the real Massey. That's not the real Massey. Yep, Jam's got Crudmo going too as well. It's just not fair. Not fair. We need Jam. 5-5-0-0. 5 keepers, 5 defenders. Correct. 5 keepers, 5 defenders, 0 defensive midfielders, 0 central midfielders, 0 attacking midfielders, 1 striker. Is he related to Michael? Absolutely. Marco and Michael are definitely related. Well, we'll have to pay Zagreb some money for Siklic in a moment. That's fine. Kasper Hansen has completed a course. They feel like he might be decent. We'll see over time how our youth players come on. We've got a few of them in our senior squad now. Siklic is one of them, 21 years old. Bugnoni, who came on, 20 years old. A couple of other young centre-backs back there as well. We've got an 18-year-old and a 17-year-old. And there's probably a little bit of a concern in terms of whether we maybe... It's crazy. I've signed a 30-year-old, a 33-year-old, and a 29-year-old as our major signings. And there may still be question marks over the experience in the squad. But when we come forward to the next transfer window, we'll actually have a pool of players. Which reminds me. That reminds me, actually. Benato won goal of the month for that free kick. I've sorted out recruitment focuses now. So during the last stream, we finally hired through and filled up our scouting team. And we do have them all working across the world now. We have a couple of scouts set up for Serie A. We have a couple of scouts set up for Serie B. We have a couple of scouts set up on the Italian under-18s. And then everywhere else, it's a single scout. So Ruben Comendes has knowledge of Portugal. So he's going to be out in Portugal. Kajigao has knowledge of England. So he's going to do the Premier League and so forth. I got 2 on Bundesliga. Why do I have 2 on Bundesliga? That shouldn't be 2 on Bundesliga. Let's put Kafal back on there. That comes to the bottom there. We do have one other scout we can send out somewhere then. Let's do so. This is all because we're doing the data-led approach. I'm more fussed about the number of players we have in our scouting pool than I am about how much information we've got on that pool. We will send him out. We've got Argentina. We've got some coverage in Chile. Do we send them out to Australia? How about Australia? I'm just thinking maybe somewhere a little bit different. We could send them out to Asia. There has been some good South Korean players in Italy. Let's go South Korea. So we have a load of Italian scouts that have zero knowledge of anywhere other than Italy. I don't want to send them all within Italy. So let's send them South Korea. There you go. So hopefully we're going to build up a pool. When we took over in the summer, we had in total a list of 100 players in here. This is now up to 400 or so, which is a little bit more encouraging. Most of them want to join, but we're going to be able to take a much more active part in the next transfer window, which I hope will sort things out. So Damien says, fair enough, unfortunately. I mean, I think it's only reasonable that we get to play with 5 keepers. It's only reasonable. So you're going to spoil to you that you will probably be playing a 5-2-3. Fair enough. Is that going to be I know you played your wing-back system against Tommy. Is that going to be similar? Or is it going to be similar? Wait a second, what's that 3? Is that 3 going to be strikers, or are you going with 3 attacking midfielders? Are you going strikerless? Australia would make sense looking for the next Christian Vieri. That's a fair shout. That is definitely a fair shout. Unfortunately, I've gone with South Korea now, but that we could take someone off one of the Italian jobs for that. Wojciech no longer wants to leave for Tottenham. Tottenham came in with a derisory bid of like 12 million euros. We said no just before the transfer window closed. Royer's now got 3rd cap for Netherlands. Fabulous. Wingers and strikers. No strikerless this time. Fair enough. A fun fact, Christian Vieri's sporting hero as a kid was Australia captain Alan Border. There we go. Now, I'll be honest, I read that initially as Alan Boksic. I was like, he wasn't an Australian captain at all. And he was after Vieri, wasn't he? Well, around the same time-ish. So basically the exact same as against Tommy. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, so as I said, the now full plan might be what we go with. There are a few different ideas as well. The philosophy that we use here in this series is kind of one of the sets of instructions that I'm looking at as well, which is a high defensive line and a mid block. So, you know, maybe there's an opportunity to try and play very, very aggressive and on the very direct to get in behind that high line potentially. Especially knowing that we're not going to be pressing high either. Well, not to start the game at least. But there are various considerations. We'll see. The batsman's holding, the bowler's willy. A classic bit of sports commentary, and also a fantastic amateur porn film. Good checking in. I'll play some darts now. Blessing you guys with a bingo. Bless you very much, Damien. Or not, because it'll be timed out. Or maybe even used up. We've played a lot of bingo. We do have a top end on limit on them as well. Out of stock. There's a shame. That's a shame. Right, 5 days. You know what's worrying me? I've just had a thought. I'm not going to say that thought out loud until we get to the game. Because I'm worried that just having the thought itself is enough to jinx it. So if we get to the game and that thing hasn't happened, I can say, and that's all good and well. But until that point, I'm too scared. Right, DeFeo, let's get these youngsters. I mean, I know that they've been playing the games midweek. Let's try and make sure that we can get those that aren't at full fitness up. We're going to give Rafael Leao 45 minutes. He's going to be our overage player. That means Benato's not going to be. Carmona's out. None of these other players are under 20. Siklic is 21, isn't he? Royer is 23. Fondi's 22. We've seen that. So that should be our restrictions there followed. So is there any lore behind the 4-4-2 diamond formation, or more of a pragmatic choice given the squad? So nickname. Part of what we've been doing is we're trying to let the narrative of the save itself guide us a little bit. So we do have the Unai Emery inspired out of possession style, and we have been playing either a 4-4-2 or a 3-5-2 for much of it coming up now. As we were playing towards the end of our time at Darmstadt, we started to see quite a few teams playing 4-4-2 diamond, and I would think that a manager in the real world would start to take inspiration from that's what's happening around them. So the increased prevalence of the 4-4-2 in the save just generally has kind of brought us towards that path. And then it seems appropriate for being in Serie A, where, I mean, like there is history with AC Milan playing a similar shape. So it kind of fits together nicely narratively well as well. Stefan Bajic gave in his transfer request and has dropped his concerns literally in less than 2 weeks. We're still probably going to look to sell him in the winter. Fundi might be back in time for the game against Verona. Oh, Verona are 19th. Oh. You know what that means. You know what that means. That's not fair. I don't want to lose the next game. So Masquerade's in. Welcome in, my dude. How are you? Long time no see. I hope you've been keeping well. Yeah, welcome in. So we are now in Season 9. Season 9. We spent 4 years with IFK Mariaham before heading off to Germany, where we spent 4 years with SV Darmstadt 98. And now we are finally at AC Milan. This is our first season. We're barely 6, 7, 8. We're 8 games into our AC Milan career, so we're all still learning everything a little bit there with these guys. Paolo Bonato is now ahead of Elena Kena for goals per minutes per goal, courtesy of his substitute appearance last time out. Hopefully it looks like he's going to be starting our next game as well, which is great. So we're going to go with Xerxes up top, Elena Kena in the attacking duty on the left, Bonato in behind them as that trequartista. Once we get to it, anyway. Once we get to it. So what are people's predictions for the Champions League this week? We've got the quarterfinals? Obviously, I know we've got Arsenal versus Real Madrid. Should be exciting. Aston Villa against PSG. I can't remember the rest of the games. Johnny Trotter. Tony Mendy is averaging 4 goals per 90. It is quite incredible. I am going to check him out in a moment. I'm guessing it might be that he's played just 24 minutes this season. I wonder if there's like a percentage of minutes that it is required for it to come up. Masquerade, that's right. It's been a long time. Everything's going well for you. How are you? You've made good progress with your save. I'm doing very well, Masquerade. Thank you very much, my dude. Yeah, we've got. It seems to have gone both quickly and slowly. Like, I feel like I should have played more games, but also, compared to the pace that I normally play, 9 seasons in is pretty good. So let's have a look at Genoa. Has Tony Mendy played just 24 minutes? No, he started a game. That game he started was in the cup though. So 3 substitute appearances, 1 goal. It will be that he has played just 24 minutes in the league this season, but he has scored. And that's all that matters. Tony Mendy. What a very, very boring name. We need something more exciting. So Zerachel's looking forward to Bayern versus Inter. That should be a good matchup. Demir predicts Inter will beat Bayern away. That would be an incredible result. But I mean, Inter have got to be one of the favourites, right? Got to be one of the favourites. Hungdamin says FM is a fun game. You almost lost to Braga in your Barense save. You scored 2 goals, a penalty and a free kick out of 3 shots on target. Beautiful. It's the FM experience. It is very, very much the FM experience, that, isn't it? Right, we're about to get 6 million off the sale of Armish Pacheco. Armish Pacheco was sold for 20.5 million. Potential for 32 million by the previous regime. Nice healthy profit there. A right wing back. I assume we've got no scouting information on him. We don't indeed. So I have no idea how accurate those attributes are. Right, so the lineup is Caprile. Afundi is not going to start, so we're going with Balieri. Milenkovic. Geraldo. Theo. Nico. Kari, Bove, Benato, Xerxes, Elena Kana. Then everyone on the bench, that's apart from the players that are injured. We do have the return of Rafael Leao as well. So that means that he can potentially come on in that role there. We should be okay there. We're going to be up against a 4-3-3. That 4-3-3 means that there isn't as much responsibility on Nico. So there's the possibility that we put Nico on a more aggressive role as well. Let's see how things go to start with. I'm thinking of Nico potentially as a roaming playmaker. Because there's no attacking midfielder for him to mark specifically. I think we could give him a little bit of freedom. We'll go with it. We'll go with what our assistant says. Let's get some. Mutu's the Verona manager. There's a surprising turn of events. So Hungdamin, Bayern is losing key players. Inter gonna win. Fair enough. So Cagliari have won their game this weekend. They are up to top spot. Who'd have thought that? And we are playing away from home against the team in 19th. This has got banana peel written all over it. Can we avoid embarrassment? I suppose, I don't want us to lose any games. I don't want us to draw any games if we can avoid it. But I also wouldn't mind a draw at some point during this season. So here we go. Nagakura gets it clear. And that's pressure off in the opening moments. A lot of the ball for Hellas Verona to start off with. We might need to look at applying a bit more pressure. Here's Nagakura. Back to Lovato. He receives it again. Finds Bockmeyer. Cross to Iglesias. Iglesias pushing forwards to Gaetano. Here we go. Redondo feeds back Meyer. It's a great touch. He hits the post. Can they follow it up? It's a good block. Headed back in. Caprile claims. The opening minutes have been 28% ball share. What the actual? Okay, Bernardo steps in. We get the ball back. He's sat up. It's getting serious now. He's sat upright. Darman sends it clear. Beraldo heads it despite being under no pressure. Thankfully, we come away with it. Bove now. Forced to go back to Beraldo. Nico. Milankovic. They're not biting. They're not stepping out of their shape. Here's Kari now. Kari gets the ball out of his feet, sends the cross in. Elena Kane rises, and that's over. That's over. A couple of minutes later, it starts with a throw-in our half. We move it back to Caprile. He finds Beraldo. Nice and sensible. Theo's going to run wide with the ball. That's literally everything we're telling him not to do. We're telling him to dribble less. We're telling him that when he does dribble, to cut inside with the ball. Theo, though, is his own man. He's been there. He's won it all. You know, why on earth would he listen to me? Here's Yika. Loses out to Kari. They have managed to push it. Oh, that was almost swearing territory. They've hit the woodwork twice from 4 shots. Oh, okay, here comes another highlight. Elena Kane across to Theo. He feeds Benato. Was he onside? He didn't look offside to me. It's another goal from a throw-in. And it stands. Shocking stuff. So that guy there, Hellas is my local rival, so I'm hoping you win this one. No pressure. Well, it's not started well. That guy there. We can feel a little bit fortunate to be ahead, but you know that's how the cookie crumbles. He is just onside. It is narrow. So that puts us ahead on the XG battle, but in terms of general play, not necessarily seeing much. Verona clearly feeling the loss of Luca Toni, as would anyone. What a man mountain Luca Toni was. They have a ex-RBK player that should be doing good. Tengstedt was a proper goat. Is that Kasper Tengstedt? There. Cross comes in. Darman claims. We're going to win the fucking Champions League. Welcome in, Brazilian Fury. Oh, Brazilian Fury. We're not going to win the fucking Champions League. We beat Benfica in our opening game in the Champions League. All going well. We then threw away a 2-1 home lead against Bayer Leverkusen in our next game. Lost 4-2. 4-2 at home. Absolutely shocking. And we're having a little bit of a crisis in terms of working out why we've been so sloppy at home. We've made some changes. Maybe we'll get there. How are you doing anyway? How's your weekend, sir? And Marco, they're missing Marco Devaya. Everyone's missing Marco Devaya too. Had Prebianek here. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't pretend that I'm sad about the retirement of Prebenalkia. So it is indeed. We had him for all of 15 matches, and he had like 18 goals. That's quite incredible. That's also quite incredible. We know the goal stands. We've seen the whole caption. Bruno sends it in. Caprile just absolutely fluffs it. And that's probably a lot more reasonable. We were lucky to be ahead to begin with. And so we can't necessarily complain too much from being behind. The corner routine was snuffed out, but can we keep the pressure on? Here's Theo. Benato sends it over. Xerxes with the volley, and the referee wants to ruin it again. That one stands. A lovely ball. A delightful ball over the top from Benato. Just dinks it there. Xerxes on the volley. What a goal. Mufasa, I'm glad you're still here. I'm back and now I'm off work. Got to run the January transfer window and hopefully I can put in a good squad together with 5 million. That's a very healthy budget. A very, very healthy budget. Currently 4th with 30 games played. So you're in a decent spot as well for at least playoffs. Fabulous stuff. Okay, by the end of that half, I think that's reasonably fair. Momentum. I want to see more. I definitely want to see more. I want to say to Beraldo, I have faith in you. I need to once again tell Theo to ease off tackles. Elena Kane has not been as involved in this game so far. Let's try just switching him up to be an advanced forward. Let's see if we can get him to push their lines back a little bit. Maybe create a bit more space for Xerxes, for Bonato. Might not mean that he himself ends up with the chances, but if he's serving the team, that's all good. He has had 3 shots so far. No goals. It seems to be about 4 shots for Elena Kane to score. Beto really is him. Beto, how is... am I missing something? Everton aren't playing right now, are they? No, they're not. I'm being stupid. Beto is a quality player though. Right, you've just watched the episode. Yeah, okay. Yeah, see, it took me a while. Yeah, Beto was absolutely incredible, and we needed him to be, because Chimiti was arse. Redondo finds Backmeyer. Backmeyer shot blocked. Well defended by Beraldo in that instance. Here comes the corner. It's going to be Bruno to take it. Outswinger with the left foot. Milenkovic gets there first. Kari gets it clear. Here's Bonato. Can he hold play up? He can. Moment is gone. We are looking at another spell potentially. No, we're not. They haven't taken advantage in the second half. That's cool. Bonato's going to take the corner. He swings it into that far post. It comes through to Nico. Nico drives forward, sends the cross to the far post. That's through to Bonato. Bonato finds Theo. Theo makes it 3-1. Bonato with another assist. Paolo Bonato might be the star that we've been building around. Hey. So, Masquerade, can I ask you a question? I thought you saw that you used focus recruitment. What's the point of that in Moneyball? Don't you do manual searches? Masquerade, I disable player search. We do not have player search, so I need my scouts to find players for me to then apply the information. I will show you in a moment, once the game is over. Dill, no Pulisic here. Sad the LeBron James of soccer not combining with Musterman is sad. He was released by the previous manager, just the last season gone. He is old now. He's like 34, 35 or so. Didn't necessarily look to be the kind of player worth bringing back. So Bonato with a free kick. He scored goal of the month with his last free kick. Well, it wasn't his last free kick, but with a free kick in the last game. Right. Theo is absolutely dead on his knees. On comes Ruggieri. That means we can take ease off tackles off. Elena Kane is coming off. Yeah, so Fataru's coming on. And we're going to see... What's Leao's strength like? Strength and balance are decent. Rafael Leao is going to come on as a deep lying forwards. We need to get minutes back into his legs. So no player search is a great start. You've got to love. I love being restricted in that way. Oh my god, I want to be able to disable player search too. Right, well, so Mufasa, if you head on over to the link there, if you just search the term player search within that topic, there will be explanations for how you can disable it. You just need to change a specific file, which is called it's the sections sidebar meta sections, maybe, or something like that. There's a couple of files in that code. You just need to add a couple of little symbols in there. All the instructions will be in there. Right, Lovato fouled by Bonato. Can Verona mount a late challenge? We're going to ask these guys to focus, because that's a great free kick. Caprile scrambling across to his left, gets enough on it, tips it round the corner. Gaetano with the corner. 15 minutes. A goal here will do them the world of good. Really, really put the pressure on. Jika. Bulgari, though, picks up on it. Iglesias. Out to Luca. Lovato. We need to cut this out. Gaetano. Caprillo does well. 35 is nothing. 35 is a doddle. LeBron is 40. Pully is in his prime. I mean, yeah, but... I mean, I know he's the LeBron James of soccer, but he's also not the LeBron James of soccer. As Rafael Leao, oh, his return was almost beautiful. Skipped inside the defender, took it with his weaker foot off the bar. So let's ask Ruggieri to sit back. We're going to keep Baglieri on an attacking role. Milenkovic is tired. On comes Brignoni. Then we've got one last substitute we can use. And that's going to be Bove coming off. Rocher coming on. We're going to move him into that defensive spot there as well. So we've got our fresher legs closer to our own goal. 35 is young. For some of us, yes. I mean, but also none of us are playing for AC Milan for a reason. You're telling me that Bron and Puli don't have the same physical profile? It's just a couple of inches in height. And, you know, those couple of inches make a difference. Or so I've been told. Here's Benato, feeds for Tabu. That looked so far offside. That looked so far offside. But that could be a hat-trick of assists for Benato if somehow he wasn't. There's no hands in the air. It's going to be disallowed. No surprises there. Tiba, welcome back. How did we do in the UCL? We won our first game against Benfica. We won our first game away from home against Benfica and then lost 4-2 at home to Leverkusen, and we don't talk about it. We just don't talk about it. Right, here's Gaetano. Coming away. Last few seconds of the game now, surely. Brignone steps in, wins the ball. And that is the final whistle. Beautiful stuff. We deserve to win. We deserve to win. Verona started well. There's a couple of moments that were quite nervy, but I think we've just about done all right. That means that we do finish this game week top of the table. Top of the table. Our next game is going to be home against Catanzaro. Right, let's get these guys rested. Great to have Rafael Leao back. A poor performance from Elena Kana. Completely reasonable, though. I think he's played every game for us so far this season. Only one of those was off the bench. But he is doing a pretty good job for us so far. Right, let's have a look. A look here. Cool. I think that's where we're going to bring it to an end tonight, guys. We've been going for about 3.5 hours or so. In fact, why do I not have a timer? Interesting. Okay, so I don't have the timer isn't showing up on OBS. That's cool. So for a moment I was worried that it dropped out entirely, and I've just been talking to myself for a few moments. It's just whatever. It's a thing on OBS. That's cool. That's cool. Panic over. Cool. A massive thank you everybody who dropped by. Thank you, by the way, Munich Munchies for the follow as well. Lovely to see you, my dude. Now over on YouTube, we're going to do the standard malarkey, which is that we close off YouTube first and then we go and raid out over on Twitch. But now I am a big fan of you guys coming and raiding with me, and let's show some love to some other creators. But also, I'm meant to be promoting my own ecosystem at some point as well. So if you haven't seen it, the most recent Moneyball Clinic episode was out earlier on today. There should be a link over in chat. Should you, for some weird reason, want more Musterman in your day. Otherwise, let's say thank you over on YouTube.